And my no doesn't mean that I don't love you. It doesn't mean that I don't accept you. I know, I'm so sorry.
Not my sound going out, sorry. It was absolutely in accordance with what we believed would actually happen. We knew that the weddings wouldn't go well. We knew that it would get to a point where everybody would we knew that everybody would eventually cancel themselves out, because this season was trash. Like, I don't know, sometimes you can go too far with trying to make entertainment and then recognize that your entertainment is not working, and this was one of those days. They went too far, and we recognized that none of the couples were compatible. KB with Edmund was never going to work, and I need people to actually be honest with themselves. We knew that this was not going to work. Let's be honest. We knew that KB wasn't going to choose this man. Okay. Alini, we knew that she wasn't going to choose Anton because she wants princess lifestyle, and again, she's not actually wrong for that. I mean, probably wrong. I mean, I wouldn't say wrong, but everyone's entitled to their opinions. Probably wrong in the sense of the fact that you know, uh, she didn't want to cook, clean, or anything. I mean, she just basically wanted to just exist. Um, and then also we had Meg's and Sparkly, Sparkly Meg and Jordan. I'm not really against Sparkly Meg. I actually rate the fact that she said no. I know a lot of people. I know. So I've seen some reviews where people are trying to say some things against her, and I'm like, actually, I don't feel like it's a bad thing to have Sparkly Meg say no to Jordan, because I'm actually glad um, that she didn't go to the altar with Jordan. I think they recognized. I think she recognized that it just wasn't meant to be. I think she recognized it wasn't the one. I think she recognized that actually this relationship would not actually benefit her. And I'm not mad at her because she didn't drag him to the altar. She didn't overcomplicate it. Had a sit down conversation. It is what it is. I think Jordan should be blessed because really and truly, if he had gone forward that relationship, he'd have suffered. You know what I mean? So yeah, for me personally, I'm glad. Can't lie to you. I'm glad I didn't go to altar. But yeah, this season is done and deaded. They need to bring the next. They need to bring the next season. Um, you know, they need to bring the next season. Yeah. Do you think Jordan should have had a? Yeah. I don't know why they brought him on. I brought him on if he had a kid. I don't know why that is. I don't know why. I'm gonna be very honest with you. No man or woman should be on these shows when you've got a child. I'm sorry. Not that you don't deserve love, but this show isn't made for people to have kids, right? If they're gonna do it, they gotta do it like Love is Blind France, where a couple of people have kids. Then it's like, all right, cool. But these people don't have kids, So I think that's a real situation where it did some people dirty in that space as well. So yeah. Anyway, listen, I don't want to spend too much time staying on it. Um, you know, I want to be able to quickly get through some stuff and then be able to get ready for the reunion on Wednesday, which I don't understand why they had a reunion on a Wednesday either. Why don't they have the reunion usually on a Sunday? They've changed it to Wednesday, which tells me it was a bag of dog doo doo. Okay, the fact that you got it on a Wednesday, not on a Sunday, tells me a bag of doo doo. Okay, yeah, this season a bag of doo doo. You have to just admit to yourself a bag of doo doo. It's absolute zaza because there was no need for them to shift it from a Sunday to Wednesday. This season should have been wrapped up by now. Okay, like we said, people doing interviews well before their time was really conflicting and confusing. Um, yeah, I just really weird as well. People doing interviews, and then Edmund's got some interview. Why didn't AD bring on Edmund? I mean, is that in the works? I don't know. I know that probably AD probably filmed some stuff probably because before she gets pregnant and Philly. But I'm thinking to myself, why didn't she get Edmund on there and got KB instead? You know what I mean? Why were they anticipating that she would get heat in this scenario too? Like that's my thing. Is like it felt like they're trying to get ahead of the devil, but I'm thinking to myself, why? You know what I'm saying to you? Why is it that, you know, in these scenarios or the interviews, why is it that they felt like they had to get KB out the way so early? You know? Yeah, maybe Edmund turned her down. Maybe. Well, we will never know, really. Do you know what I'm saying to you? But hey, it be what it be. You know what I mean? So, and then let me get my boy Easton on. We're going to talk about this end season as well. Yeah, she did. There was a part where AD said, "Oh, did you like the fact that he was wearing those floral shirts?" And I was like, "AD, now, baby girl, talking about a man's floral shirts, and you know, I was like, baby girl, leave that man alone, okay? All right, leave him alone." But hey, this season is done. But I'm gonna get Easton on, and we'll have a conversation about this. Boy, oh boy, what are you telling me, bro?
We finally get to the end, and I mean, it's everything that we expected. But I'm not going to take a victory lap, although I did, you know, predict very, very early on, if we go back to the first week, what would happen about Edmund having the Marshall edit. I consider it the Marshall edit because you eventually come around to figuring out a little bit more of his personal history. You get to appreciate him a little bit more, a little bit of sympathy, but he almost comes across as the victim of it, although I don't think he's completely innocent. And that's with them. In terms of Megan and Jordan, like you were saying, I think Megan and Jordan weren't for each other. Him having a kid, her kind of being very stagnant, or at least like very rigid. She wasn't really flexible in a lot of ways. And I think it comes across as Jordan not being very rigid. But if you look at the behind the scenes, I highly recommend anybody who has time to look at the behind the scene episode. It does show them actually interacting and doing stuff that isn't showed on camera. So it isn't like every day Jordan isn't doing anything with her. They are doing, I think they went and got a pedicure and manicure or something together one day, and they did some other stuff. But highly recommend that. But yeah, he would probably been miserable, and she would have been miserable as well, because she wouldn't have had a companion. Anton and Allie. Anton is a ding dong. You lied to yourself, and we'll get into that. And who is I think that was it. Was that it? Anton and Allie, Jordan and Megan, Edmund and KB. Yeah. We'll get into Edmund and KB, but yeah, I think it's a lot of stuff to talk about. Last thing I definitely want to highlight. I don't want to hear anybody critiquing the show and the producers and them highlighting, oh, they're taking advantage of the cast. People are signing up for this for a reason. And also, I didn't hear a lot of these critiques about production and editing and all this other stuff until, I'm gonna just call a spade, until the women started being a little bit more garbage. It was all fine and dandy when we had Liler, when we had SK doing dirty stuff, when we had everybody else, all the dudes was looking like they were the worst thing ever. But now, since we've gotten not only multiple seasons of women looking bad, but multiple versions of the franchise. You had France, UK looking kind of shaky, US is looking shaky, and now everybody wants to be like production and kinetics and Chris Colleen and stuff like that. No, y'all didn't have the same smoke the other season, so I don't want to hear it now. And that's why I guess we just
Man, listen. I mean, it's interesting, and I guess that's obviously one aspect of the show we can talk about as well. Is it's good that this. I think it's good to have a better balance of reality of what the dating is market is actually having. Right. I think we're starting to see that the ladies are as problematic as the gentlemen in these shows, and I think they're starting to show more of that as well. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is also really good because, like I said, then it means also now you don't feel like it's only men getting roasted, right? So I think in past seasons we've seen that the men are getting roasted because, they have actually been the bad guys in some of the situations. Let's be honest, they have been. You know, the SKs. I wouldn't say the Clay was a bit more different, but the SK definitely in situations. A couple of other guys well before that as well. I remember last season with the Laura girl that was freeing it up for her, and then the day before she had been with another guy. That guy got smoked too. So yeah, a couple of people obviously, got the smoke in terms of their behavior. So it's good to see that we're seeing that there is more balance to, some of the villainary behavior. Do you know what I'm saying to you?
For sure.
In this aspect as well. So yeah.
I don't know. I think it's that we're just not getting a major event from the man to blur it all out. Like I said in the past, and I've said this multiple seasons, we typically get a really crappy guy who everybody looks at and it's like it doesn't matter what anybody else does. Because even if let's just say let's go with Baltimore and we see Tyler season. If we take Tyler out of it, like you get a little bit better picture of all the contestants and you get it's a little bit more balanced because then you get to see Marissa for who she was and you didn't have to wait till the season finale or the reunion to really hold her accountable for how she was acting. You get to see a little bit more of maybe if they're like Ashley, like you're wondering like you're fine as I don't know what, you're smart, you're really accomplished, like what's going on here? And then what does it take? It takes her basically telling the fans that they're idiots and they don't know anything for people to turn. And so I'm glad that the editing is getting a little bit more balanced, or at least that we're not getting these highs and low points, because in the same breath, we don't get the Brents, we don't get the Camerons, because I think that it's like a balance. Like you might have super low lows like Tyler and SK and some of these really just embarrassment of men, but on the flip side you have really great guys that you maybe want to emulate or really show a good embodiment of what a man should be. And I don't think that you'll have either of those anymore. You'll start to see just kind of like the average run-of-the-mill guys who are trying to figure things out, kind of like an Anton, and then that's going to be and that's no slight to Anton. I just think that you're going to see less of the highs and the lows of the guys. You won't see super successful people, but you also won't see any more embarrassments because they're going to be afraid of getting embarrassed. And I think the guys that are maybe a little bit more successful, they're going to be a little bit more critical about how they show up on the show and what happens as repercussions of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's interesting. Like I said, I think it's good to see both sides, like I said, because then you get to really weigh up what people's behaviors are like really and truly as well, right? We can actually have a fair shot to be able to break down some of their behaviors. And yeah, no, I mean, the season, obviously, again, they chose to go with certain people who I think really and truly, I don't know what's happening, because I'm sure there's always more people that are on the show as well who had different connections too, who obviously probably maybe went and got engaged too, but we never saw their stories. So I think there's also where production may also have to take some accountability, though, is that there are other stories that they didn't decide to pursue, and they pursued these particular stories for whatever purpose that is as well, right? So there probably was some decent people, but again, we never saw them. But this is the stories they decided to follow and pursue. And I just think to myself, this was crazy work. They pursued the KB and Edmund situation to give us, I guess, that black love, but that won't.
They knew what they was doing.
Yeah, they knew. They
knew what they was doing. I was to piggyback off of your point about, well, I guess before you even get into a little bit more of the specifics of the individuals, I think that with editing and production, the issue is that like you have a lot of different individuals. I think that obviously behind the scenes in every reality show, their production and the individuals there, they're telling individuals to pursue these people. Like we hear that KD was almost told to pursue Edmund in a way. Like I think that there's that aspect of it, but I also am a little bit I don't really put that much weight on them. I don't put that much weight on production. I think everybody wants to do so now, but beforehand, it wasn't just this like loud, resounding issue. And I know that a lot of people in the comments are saying like everybody was taking issue with production earlier, or even the contestants. I get that, but I'm just saying on a balance of probabilities, like an average, I don't think that there was that much issues from one side of the table compared to the other. Granted, this is a show that is heavily catered and dedicated towards women. I just think that we all the viewers know what they want. When we were looking at Johnny and that got married a couple seasons ago, everybody who gets married, we just be like, they're boring, and we fast forward. So they know, just like we know, the same way as you know on your YouTube channels, you know what parts people are viewing, staying the most time for. The same way all the producers know what people want to watch. When it came to Johnny and was it Brittany or I forgot what her name was, or any of the married folks, we fast forward through them, and so they know what was going to retain the people as well as get them the most hits online. And it wasn't the married folks, it was the drama, it was the trash, it was the triggering, it was the viewers reliving some of these traumatic moments that they saw on TV. And so that's partially our fault, but they also are in this is their job. So what are they in charge of? Making sure that the viewers and the views are there, because if not, then you're going to be shelved and you're not going to have no other seasons.
Okay. No, I get what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I mean, it's not easy. Okay, well, let's chop it up about some of this situation. Of course, there are 3 couples specifically that were obviously going towards the altar because the other ones had dropped out. And so there was 3 to talk about. KB, Edmund, Sparkle, Meg, Jordan, Alini, and Anton. Let's just start with Alini and Anton. They went to the altar. It didn't work out. She chose not to pursue things. I want to know what your thoughts were on this scenario and what you gathered from their wedding and why it got to a place where she chose not to pursue the marriage with Anton.
I picked up on them not being in a pretty copacetic relationship as soon as she told him to close his eyes during the kiss. I mean, if you like somebody, it don't really matter if they close their eyes, open their eyes, what is, you just rock with it. But I picked up earlier, everybody's like, no, wasn't that big of a deal, it's kind of creepy. No, like, I think that we all know if we like somebody a lot, guy or girl, there's some things that you're willing to like compromise with, and you're not like gonna be super nitpicky about. And she was always nitpicky about stuff that's going on. I was always thinking that she was not going to pick him. And Anton eventually continued to make himself small and try to, I guess, try to prove himself to her. Like even at the very end, he was like always trying to get a verbal yes or get a confirmation. And you should never do that. As soon as you have to question it, you're out of there. He lied to himself. So I hold a majority of this failure on him. He lied to himself. He said she don't cook, she don't clean, she don't, he basically said she was lazy. And then in all of that, continue to pick her. He lied to himself. And so for you, I have very little sympathy. Yes, Alini and her friends are treacherous. Them women from Eastern European, you don't need no friends like that. But hey, she got them. And so she let them kind of invade her relationship, because you can even see how the respect is gone whenever she's not defending you. Even if everybody think you ugly, the girl that love you or like you, she gonna defend you with honor. She didn't do that. She let them talk about his job. She let them talk about what kind of provider he's going to be. And so once that was the ultimate confirmation. But Anton, is his fault. I heard he's in another relationship. I really don't like how they were editing him drinking a lot or even all this other stuff. But even then, you still didn't have to lie, bro. You should have just took it on the chin. Hey, I like to drink a lot. We would have let you go with it because you was Russian. But I'm gonna land it there. He lied to himself, and that's why he's taking majority of the responsibility in my book.
Hey, also, you're right. We're talking about Alini and Anton. Want to get your thoughts?
Sure, I have to stick with that, or do I have to correct Easton's revisionist history?
No,
everybody did. I wasn't saying everybody, but lion's share of people don't be having the smoke like they have for Clay and all these other people that they do, or they don't have the same amount of smoke for some of the women when they are trashed as they did with some of the guys. A lion's share.
That's some revisionist history. I'm not sure when Kojo started Love is Blind, but daggone sure when it was Shane and Shayna's season, Shayna got it. Zainab got it in her season. I'm not sure what you watching or what you remember seeing. But in season 1, Jessica is still got our foot on her neck trying to steal Barnett from Amber. Come on now.
But do you even realize, even in saying that, like, she wasn't a villain because of how she treated old dude. She was a villain because of how she was trying to steal Barnett from Amber.
It was also how she was trying to behave with Carlos, and we saw that he was really infatuated with Jessica. We saw it.
Okay, we all know that Zainab was cool, calm, and collected that whole season until the editors played the clip at the end. Yes, they were.
I was on Zainab's neck from the beginning because she would do little things to kind of poke at him. Every time he would do something, she would poke, and I'm like, and even Kojo said it on his things with Zainab, she gives these backhanded compliments. So I'm sorry, Easton. I know how it may look to you that the men are getting the brunt of it, but the women get their share.
All right.
How many lashes does it take for Easton to be happy that the women are getting an even share?
No, I'm saying that you see that the extracurriculars that happen in conjunction with the lashings, if you will, you see that people, we've seen it with Love is Blind. Or with Married at First Sight and Love is Blind. Dudes who got businesses are going to get negative ratings on their businesses because of how they've conducted or how they're perceived. We can say that with, granted, I ain't think his book was that great, or I didn't even read it, but Akechi from Married at First Sight, and we got Clay and his Airbnbs, and
I didn't have Smoke for Clay at the wedding saying no to AD. He'd been saying no to her. She wasn't paying attention.
I get what you're saying, but that's the force multiplier.
I chose his entire behind on our 4K television.
So if that's the case, then so I want y'all to bombard Tatiana's hair products and hair salon the same way, because she done went out here and spread that Yannick is gay. We got to stop the malarkey here. I get what you're saying, but
again, now you're judging her for after the show. I want to judge her by what we saw on the show.
I'll put my hand up.
You're telling me you started the goalpost as how they treated each other. You told me it's not about how they treated the other person, it's how you kept it to the show. Now you're telling me with Tatiana after the show how she treated Yannick. Okay, that is after the show.
So during the show,
has already been roasted. She has been roasted here.
But I'm okay. I love.
That's why I'm asking how many licks does it take to get to the center of the lollipop? How many?
I'm just saying it should be equal. I think it should be 50-50. I'll be a 50-50 warrior on this one. More times than not, I'm gonna say the lion's share of responsibility should be held by the guy. But this one, I'll be a 50-50 warrior. I think if we're trying to call a fair playing field when we come to these reality shows, if not, you're just going to continue to encourage Like you're just going to encourage not so desirable people to be on the show, and then everybody's going to continue to get triggered because they see these not desirable people on these shows.
But the undesirables, I will give you, it does sell, but it's undesirable to who? They're desirable to somebody because they accepted a proposal and they proposed. So it might be undesirable to the general public. That doesn't mean they're undesirable to the people in the pods. But I just need to I need you to tell me at some point, when is it even enough for you to say, okay, that's enough? I don't think there's a measuring stick for that.
I mean, look, I'm okay with it not being fair or it not being even. I'm just saying that, look, I'm going to bring it up. If people continue to get triggered and traumatized by this stuff, I just call it a spade a spade. If there's another Liler that hops on the show, it is what it is, because that's just, that's just.
But he's an anomaly. He's a tangent that's far out there.
Most of
the men are not bringing in 3 children that he had with a friend. They're not bringing in court documents that they have judgments against them. Again, I just need to know at what we have been roasting the women here as well. I need to know when is it even Steven for you? Because it seems like I'm going to hear this from you next season.
You for sure will, because it's not going to be even. It's literally going to, I'm telling you, it's literally going to be the same thing. If it's the same play, it's going to be one guy has some major event. This time we almost fell for the trick. Edmund in the sex talk, that almost got everybody. That almost got everybody, and everybody was going to blank whatever KB did, and then KB kind of balanced it out by calling him the B word, and then we had to think critically about everybody. That I'm cool. It's never going to be equal. It's just going to be a double standard that happens. I just found it interesting, and I just brought it up.
If you are okay, it's a double standard that is happening, then mention it and keep it pushing. So let me get to Ali and Anton. We knew she was not going to pick that man. We knew she was going to be a no at the altar. And we know based on how Mama was talking that this was not going to be it. Her sister could have stayed home. I didn't like the sister's energy when she came there. I don't care what happens. I don't approve. I don't like it. You're not her mama. And I know sometimes if it's an older sister that certainly helped raise you, that they may take on a matronly role, but you're not her mama. That negative energy, I was like, sis, you could have just been there and kept your mouth shut. I'm sorry. But we knew Ali was, she cannot be his wife. That's okay. But the bawling and boohooing, ma'am, you just told him no. And that's okay. You have a right to say no. The bawling and boohooing is like if he said no and left her at the altar. But we knew it wasn't going to work out. And I knew, Anton, I'm sorry. I don't know if it was nerves or it was alcohol, but that mismatched socks on your wedding day, I was done with you. I said, sir, this is not an important day for you. You ain't even got your socks together. Okay? Not even your socks. So you were done. I can't believe you said yes. I can't believe all the men were a yes and all the ladies were a no this season. I'm sorry, but Coach is right. Denver knew it was going to be, let it burn. They're going to let it burn on a Wednesday instead of doing it on a Sunday, prime time at 9:00.
Dario, welcome.
Hello, everybody. Happy, what day is today? Monday? One of them days. So, okay, I was listening to everybody's argument, and this episode was effing brutal. It was brutal. God dang. Like, I knew people were going to say no, but I wasn't expecting it to be so, it was hard to watch. I was doing this basically the entire time because I just, it was painful. But if we're sticking specifically to Anton and Ali, then I think the reason why Ali was giving, like, she was coming off a little schizophrenic with her responses is because, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think after a certain point, production will not allow you to back out. Like, you have to cross a certain deadline, and then it's like, okay, well, now you're pot committed, so you have to see this through. We got to go to a wedding. at that point. And I think she probably wanted to get to the wedding, and maybe she didn't anticipate it being so stressful. And I don't think she realized how much Anton actually liked her, or that his family would also be responding to her a certain way. That's why she was crying. It's not because she, you know, she specifically felt bad for him. And we know that because of her responses. When she was talking to the cameras, when she's talking to the cameras after everything happened, her answers were really about her. It's like, I didn't anticipate feeling this way, and I really hope that he was gonna say no. And it felt very me centered, and I didn't get the impression that she was really thinking about him. Now I will say, Anton's mom is very much a boy mom, because I don't know if you guys clocked it. When she was coming in to help him and they were speaking Russian to each other, she was like, "Oh, my little baby angel, my fluffy bunny, I love you so much." Like, it's just very, it was very sweet, flowery language. And it's just like, God, she's such a boy mom. Because they talk like that to their sons. And she was like really trying to encourage him. And and then I thought it was sweet, but then she went over to Allie's suite, and I thought she was completely inappropriate. Why would you go to this girl's suite and ask her, "Do you love my son? You want to be with him?" It's just like, yo, what did you expect her to say? she can't say nothing but, "Yeah, I love your son. Yeah, I want to be with him." And then like Allie's mama standing right there. It's like, I'm not going to go back and forth with you about him. I'm not going to tell you how I really feel. She legally can't, ma'am. So I don't know if Anton didn't explain that to her, but I thought it was really inappropriate for her to come before the wedding to ask that. And like, it felt like she was trying to put some light pressure on her. It's like, he loves you so much, and the family just loves you so much, and we really want you to be part of the family. It's just like, okay, girl, too much. I need you to back all the way off. Like that, I didn't like that. I don't know if Anton really explained the process to the family, because when his friend was cussing her out, I was like, God dang. Now, she ain't wrong. She's not wrong.
She wanted Anton. You could say it loud, Dahlia. That friend probably wanted Anton.
You think so?
That was too much vitriol. It was like a woman scorn. It should be me in that white dress. That's what it screamed to me. But I don't know her.
I felt like Anton's mama was over here trying to help convince her. Like, I feel like Anton was on a dummy mission at the very end. He was always pushing Alini to give him like a confirmation, and he was using his mom. He is basically like, "Hey mom, I need you to try to convince this girl that she likes me and that we're gonna make it to the end. And yeah, just do that for me." And she did it. She really told him at first not to be. She was telling him like she ain't it, but I think that she wanted to do what her son wanted her to do.
Yes, and I will say this much, because seeing Allie's sisters and her mother all together in one place, I'm thinking to myself, and I left this on your page, Kojo, when you did the video about them, but she looks nothing like the rest of her family. I mean, like they look like family, but I mean like presentation wise, they look nothing alike. And I'm looking at how the mom and the sisters are dressed, and I'm like, it's giving a religious cult. It's giving like I was raised strong Mormon in like the Brazilian mountains, or like I was I don't know, I was raised Jehovah's Witness, or we Kojic or something. You know what I mean? Like, because of how they're dressed, they're not wearing makeup. They got these long hair, but it's in ponytail.
She is the only one with tattoos.
She's the only one and fully tatted up. I didn't even realize how much tattoo she had until she was wearing that dress, the wedding dress. She has them all over her body, and she's got a very specific kind of makeup. And I'm just like, oh, you're the black sheep of the family. That's why they're like this with you. And I feel like Kojo, the reason why she pushes against wanting to cook and clean and all that is because she's a black sheep, and she probably saw her mama going through it with her first husband or something. And her mom obviously was teaching her girls, this is how a woman's supposed to present herself. And she's like, nope, won't be me. I want to be taken care of, but I don't want to have to take care of a man. I don't want to get trapped. I don't know. That's the vibe that I get from from that family. And I don't know. I have some questions I want to ask her. I would love to know how she grew up. I wish they had gotten into that more, because I think that's interesting.
1.5 million Mormons, Dahlia, in Brazil.
There you go. I told you. Okay, that I could clock a Mormon, because they're on a mission to get as many brown people as possible. They really try to rehab their image. Huh?
You didn't say she was a Mormon.
They got a look. They have a specific look, and it's just like all the new Mormons now are brown. Y'all ain't notice that? Like, because it used to be like they have it in their version of the Bible. It's like brown people are evil, but now they try to pretend like that never happened, and they trying to get all the brown people around the world to come on. Because
I lived in Utah for 2 years. Yeah, it'd be like that.
Yeah, so I can see that. Yeah, but that's it.
Seaway, what you got, twin?
I don't have as much strong feelings on it, except for when I did not know that he was a truck driver. And when that came out that he was a truck driver, it completely changed everything. I think they intentionally kind of hid that, or were like very obtuse about that until the very end. And when they said that he was a truck driver, the lifestyle that she wants versus the lifestyle that he is living, it was just completely different. Completely different. Yeah, because when they described it as logistics transportation, I really hate when they do this about like these people's career. They're always so vague. I feel like that's balloon too, where they're just, just saying just very random titles for regular things. Yeah, I think they try to make it seem like he managed truck drivers. I think he's also drives trucks, and that's a predominant part of, what he's doing. So I don't know. I think that whole train new CDL, I feel like that's a distinction without a difference, to be honest. He's still out there on the trucks, driving trucks. He's with the trucks. I don't really feel like that matters. With that being said, based on his life and when that came out, I knew immediately she wasn't saying yes. I knew that. I was actually thought it could have been a yes before, but when they were talking about, and it wasn't just that, it was the way her family was kind of describing him. I was like, this is not going to work. This is not going to work, because you can't have if your family's looking down on the man and y'all ain't even married. Yeah, no. Yeah. So I'm not surprised. I do think at a certain point, and this is what I noticed with Love is Blind, if it's a close enough where like people could be really surprised, it could go either way on whether people are going to say yes or not, they take it to the altar, or the producers try to make them take it to the altar. With the exception of like with Sparkle Meg, I feel like they felt like the juice wasn't worth the squeeze with the kids involved and things involved, so they said scratch it. And then if it's too one way, like it's obvious that Joe did not like Madison, right? And it was obvious that the lavender marriage guy wasn't going to be with Annie because she was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And so that one, okay. But if it's close enough, they're going to make you go to the altar. And so I could say, oh, Allie shouldn't have dragged that man to the altar. But I mean, clearly this is what they signed up for. So those are my thoughts.
Fair enough. I wonder, if Alini's family or friends are so judgmental about the status of Job, it's quite intriguing, because then I feel like then Alini's not showing us who she truly is, because she has two sides to her, and maybe that's what the conflict is. Because, baby girl, you weren't going to meet no doctor on Love is Blind. I just want to tell you, you weren't going to meet that man. You know what I mean? I know that Sparkle Meg is in there, but Sparkle Meg is an exception to every rule we've ever had. Okay. So this particular man that you were looking for that has that status, that has that, you know, level, is not going to be on Love is Blind. It's going to be on a, you know, you're going to have to look for something like The Bachelor, maybe. Maybe that might be a little more closer to it, right? Do you know what I mean? You're more inclined to get someone like that, you know what I mean? But maybe again, you're shaking your head, maybe that's not going to be there either. You know, so again, I think this is a good aspect in terms of being able to say, I don't know if Alini's being true to her actual real self. And I did that video where I spoke about something's gone wrong and she's not told us what it is. Something's not quite right with Alini. Not saying she's like, you know, crazy or anything. Something's not right in the milk, because your mom is telling us she's down to earth. She's a grafter, hard worker. You are saying you don't do any of that stuff. Even to a point you said that when you were living with your mom. So like that's actually you actually have to deep the nasty work that she said. She said even with her mom, not when she was living alone, even when she lived with her mom and she was going to school, she let her mom do all the work in the house and she did F all. That is crazy. So at that point, I asked myself the question, what went wrong? What did you see that made you get to a place that you would sit there and allow your mom to do all the house cleaning, the cooking, all them kind of things, and you would sit at home? But you would get an education. I see that as something's not quite right, and I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if you guys have an opinion to that. It's not about shooting her down. It's about I'm trying to understand what this mindset is. You know what I'm saying, Chu? Something's not quite right in the milk. Yes, Dahlia.
Well, from what I can tell, she's the youngest of all the girls. And I know that for a lot of immigrant families, like with the Indians, what they'll do is they will tell you to focus solely on school. You don't have to do anything else. We just want you to get the degree. And then the expectation after that is you're supposed to use that money towards the family until you get you a husband, and then you're his family responsibility. And then the expectation is that you will be cooking and cleaning for the man's family. So that might be why she's like that. And but that's different from his traditional family. So it's two different types of traditions. So maybe that's why, and why the other girls, they read as more mature and more quote unquote traditionals, because they were forced to be, where she didn't have to.
Yeah, and I think a lot of girls who are taught to go to school and be smart, and to focus on that, are not really taught to focus on some of the household stuff. I mean, that I can tell you that was never pushed on me at all. Actually, to the point where my abuela and my other grandmother, because they were living with me, there were so many things that I just didn't learn because there were so many women around the house to do it. No one needed me to do it. And so I don't know if there was just so many women around the house or people around the house that are willing to do things that they said, you just focus on, you know, the school and things like that. I think it's different where there's families where every hand is needed. You know what I mean? Like everyone needs to do something. There's only so many hands to go around. People need to do things. But if you have a lot of people around to do the labor and they're like, this girl, she ain't good at no housework. Maybe she's a little lazy around the house, but she'll go to school. Okay, focus on school then, since that's what you want to do. That's what it sounds like to me, but I'm not sure.
I agree with you, Saywe. That was the same way with me. I wasn't pushed for that. You go to school, you get your grades, and make sure it's up to par. Other than that, if you're home on break is when you would, you know, help cook or whatever. But other than that, it was, you know, but I'm not saying I'm leaving my clothes all over the floor and whatnot. I mean, I'll do the laundry. They'll bring the basket. I have to still fold and put it away. But I'm not expected to do the household chores when I've got books and assignments and grades to do. But that's how my grandfather ran the house. My grandmother's first husband and the second husband. That's how the house was run. So,
and what threw me off, I just want to say, I don't mind her putting down the boundaries. I don't cook. Like, don't think you're going to be expecting a hot meal when you come home, because I did the same. I mean, I didn't say it like that, but I want to make it clear to anyone who was going to be with me because they wanted a homemaker that this just was not that. Just so they understood that. But there's that, and then there's not. Sorry.
He's calling.
There's that. My husband.
That's the business that she be working. Okay.
No. There's
That's why she
that,
ain't cooking and cleaning.
and then he doesn't know I'm alive. There's that, and then there's like not taking care of yourself. Like, to me, where's the shame? If you gonna leave stuff around the house once you a little bit here and there, fine. But in like the shared apartment stage, I need you to pick up your clothes. To me, that's a bigger issue. Like, you didn't even feel compelled to even pretend like you wanted to pick up your clothes.
She was horrified Patrick came by.
I feel like it was a ploy. I think that she was doing that to repel Anton. I think that if she was with the right person, she probably would have done it. But I think that at this point, she was trying to, because she was so nitpicky on every other little thing about him drinking, about every other thing. It didn't seem like it was authentic. I think that she was trying to find something, her way out. And whenever he asked her about cooking and cleaning, she was just like, no, I'm not going to do that. I think that she just was kind of repulsed by him and she needed an excuse. And that was it.
But he's the one that cooked. He cooked breakfast. He cooked the steaks. She washed the fruit. And the only thing she gave him was that croissant.
No,
So
I'm saying
I agree with Easton
on camera.
I think she was like, I don't care about this food, not now bit. And I'm just going to be like, nope, can't do it. Won't do it. This thing is locked down. And that's what I think it was. I'm sure because her friends gave me Eastern Russian or Eastern European mail order. I cook, I clean, as long as the check cleared. And I think that she, again, I don't want to put that on her, but it felt like she kind of could get into that lane if the person had enough money to do that, you know? And so that I feel like she was just like, hey, I'm not going to cook clean for you, Anton, because your pocketbooks aren't wide enough for that.
Yeah, I agree with Easton. That's what I was kind of getting at. I'm like, if a girl really likes you, even if they say, hey, these are my boundaries, they're going to pretend a little bit. The fact that she was unwilling to pretend at all when he brought up, and you don't pick after yourself, and she was like, and don't. I was like, oh no, it's over. When she hit him with that and don't.
This is where I have to get on Anton though, because at that little tired bachelor party that they had, I didn't even realize that was a bachelor party, by the way. I thought that was just them having like a brunch or something, but okay. When he was having his bachelor party with his friends, he was telling them all the stuff that she don't do. She's like, okay, I mean, does she cook or clean? No. Is she all that nice to me? No. Is she gonna take care of me? No. It's like you just running down the list of all the stuff she don't do. It's like, okay, well, what are you marrying her for? So what you're not saying is the reason why you're marrying her is because you think she's pretty, and you want access to her body. That's really what it's about. Because what else could there be? Terrible
baddie management.
Yeah, it's just like, bro, come on now. Even in his vows, if you go back and look at both of their vows, hers were dry as dirt. I mean, it was terrible. But his weren't much better. He really didn't say any qualities about her that had anything positive or redeeming about them. I don't think he really knows her either. So I can't feel too bad for him. I feel worse for his mom, but for him, you knew what you were signing up for. It's not like she was hiding it all that well. So
they were barely affectionate with each other. Barely.
Yeah.
And at the final date, they weren't even sitting right next to each other. It's like, okay, why are we here on this final date?
He would have, because I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Anton's eyes were dilated in every scene from the beginning. Like, she noticed it when they first got engaged, when they were meeting up. You could see his eyes were dilated. And they stayed dilated the entire time. His nose is wide open over her. It's just that she's not feeling him. So it's like, well, if she's not feeling him, he can't be affectionate with her like that. She's shut down every avenue for that. So there's really not much left to him.
And then he gonna tell his mama to go ahead and speak on his behalf. Because it just seemed like every time he was like, Mama, I really like this one. And his mama was telling him in the back, this ain't it, baby. But he's like, no, Mama. I ain't never had a baddie like this. I love her to the forever now. And she's like, nah, Anton. And then he's like, please, mama, just tell her that I love her, and then like try to convince her. And she said, all right, Anton. And she tried her best. She twisted her arm in that meet and greet part, and they talked about it, but she wasn't gonna have it, and she just lied to him, man, mama. And you see how hurt he is, but he doing better now. Hopefully he learned.
Well, I definitely think he will learn a lesson, and I guess we do have to ask that question. Why did he stay? I know it's a terrible baddie management, but using the context clues of obviously the mom and his relationship and everything like that, why do we think that Anton was deciding to put up with the fact that she wasn't going to cook, she wasn't going to clean? Old girl said, you going to cook, you going to clean, you going to do the mimosas, you going to do everything, and then for him to munch the food the way he did, like he ain't been fed in a couple of years. Why do we feel like he decided to stick it out with the situation? And if it had not been for Alini, he said yes. Like he was ready to go. He's ready to marry, irrespective of whatever. You know what I mean? I don't even know if they had sex or not. It didn't even look like they even had sex. I ain't gonna lie to you. So why do we think he decided to stay? Like, what was his reason for sticking up there and staying in it? Yes, yes.
He doesn't have a lot of experience. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just a personal thought, but I think that a lot of dudes that go to the strip clubs, they really are trying to like pick up on experience with women that they don't get in the field by like approaching and talking to them. Like, they really are lagging in that experience section. And I think that that's what Anton, he don't have a lot of good solid experience with how, if somebody does like you, how you are supposed to be treated, how, if she likes you enough, she won't mind like cooking or cleaning or doing a chore here, like it being the relationship being reciprocated and being valued on both sides. And I just think that he lacks the experience, as a lot of the guys do. You're starting to see that maybe it's just for the world we're living in, but a lot of the guys are struggling in the experience department and knowing how to discern between what looks good and what actually is good for them, or they're thinking with the wrong head, which it could be a combination of all that too.
I don't think it's experience, Easton. It's simple. It's the fact that she's a baddie and she's out his league, and he knows it. And he knew this was his opportunity to get somebody that he would never get in real life. That's it. And that's why I say there's never victims. You know what I mean? Like, I say this all the time on the channel. When you see a man with a whole lot of money with a baddie, he's not a victim. He used his money and status. He worked hard for that to get a girl that he would never get if he didn't have it. And the lady, she uses her looks, that is her calling card, to get a man with money. It's just how it goes. When you have pretty privilege, or you're pretty like that, your possibilities, realms, options open up. And on top of that, she has a job that she can work. She just want to be taken care of. So he was like, I ain't gonna get nobody like this in real life. I don't care if she don't cook, clean, or wash the floor, or wash her butt for that matter. It just is what it is.
I'm saying that like experience, because if you like had a baddie, or if you punched above your weight class, that it takes a lot of disposable income, a lot of time, a lot of energy to maintain that.
Which all of it he doesn't have.
Yeah, that tells me that he ain't really been experienced with a baddie, because he knows
he ain't gonna get the experience. That's my point. You talk about experience like he has the option to get the experience. I'm saying he ain't got the option to get the experience.
No, the experience is being the food dude one time, the dude that only get hit up for the food. That's the experience, because then you're like, dang, she ain't never really, like, she only hits me. Huh?
You've lost me completely.
The food dude is that's the training grounds. You done learn, okay, man, she only hits me up whenever it's time to get for a date or some food or something like that. And then you kind of learn.
He doesn't have that, is what I'm saying to you.
Isn't that what I just said? I said he didn't have experience.
Right. And what I'm saying to you is he's not going to get the experience because he doesn't have what it takes to even be the food dude.
He does. What are you talking about? He has a job. The food dude, you don't need to require, all you have to do is have to have a little bit of money. Like, what are y'all talking about?
Well, I think what you're missing is someone like Allie is not finding dudes for dinners.
Okay.
That's like step one. She doesn't need nobody to take her out to dinner. We're beyond that.
I'm saying you build up this experience early on in your life. Kojo, you got to save me on this one because you know what I'm talking about.
Don't save him.
Kojo
Don't save him.
He's cheap and he's not spending his money to do none of this. So
I'm saying you learn. I'm saying you go through these hoops early on, and then you're able to discern a little bit more. But to me, it seems like Anton, the same as Alan from last season, they don't even handle common cues because they never had any experience.
Alan's another one. I'm glad you brought that up. He's not in. Bless his heart. He's not in that realm. You keep mentioning people who are not in this conversation. It won't be in the conversation.
Easton, have you been the food dude?
Exactly. That's why I said I ain't gonna get every play
so
like
it's
that.
projection. So it's projection.
No, it's literally like I think that it's a rite of passage. It's okay.
No,
on one today. She got a bone to pick. What's going on?
Some of us ladies don't even establish a food dude. Okay, so
well, some women do, and I'm sure Alini back in her past maybe had a food dude or two.
And this is why, Easton, that's why I asked you if you were the food dude. It sounded a little too vitriol. It sounded a little too close to home.
I've had a lot of different roles in my life, and some good, some bad. I'm just saying those are experience and data points that you can pull into. And I feel like Anton, like it to me, it seemed, she was nitpicky at you. She didn't like it didn't seem like she was very attracted to you. Oh, she only she only kind of carrying this out for the show. That's all I'm saying. Oh no, pretty amazing. 4866. I already know.
You're advertising to be a food dude, so take out Pretty Amazing. Whoever else you want to take out, because you advertising your food dude services.
You got to be reciprocated. You know, you send me $1 on Cash App, I'll send you something back. We start there and we build our relationship.
Food dude works. I don't know much about it, but I know it don't work like that.
I'm telling, it's not really I feel like it's a young person thing. Like when I feel like it's when people have a roster, you got the food dude. You got the dude that you really, the girls might have a guy that they really like, that the guy that they are sleeping with or are entertaining, the really guy that they really want to be with. They have different roles. And the food dude is what Anton kind of is. He's just there. You ask her on a date, she might consider, might not, but she'll say yes if she's free and she ain't got nothing to do, and she'll take you to go on a date, but it never gets past that. That's what it is.
Okay.
In the chat, they understand it. They know what they're talking about.
I know. I think we all know what you're talking about, but this ain't got nothing to do with the subject.
It does. If you have you're seeing on Love is Blind and Mavs is guys that don't have a lot of experience go on these shows because they kind of hopeless and they get either they are terrible socially, have a lot of baggage, or they're just gonna they just mess things up completely. And I think you're seeing that more and more. And all these guys, they seem kind of like run-of-the-mill guys that are trying to figure things out. And I think that Anton is.
Easton, I don't think Anton is generous to be the food dude. Okay? There has to be a level of generosity there. And I think he's the dude to just what we saw him, bring the 2 steaks home, bring the 12-pack of beer. We can eat at the house, dude. I don't think he's
lying about the 12-pack of beer. He said he only drank 2, and he bringing some downstairs to his homeboys.
He is going to keep his money.
Anton isn't a bad guy. He's just a regular run-of-the-mill guy.
He didn't drink the tequila, which sent me to the moon.
Let's not forget, this man was raised traditional, and he told her he wanted 1 joint account. Now, does that sound like somebody who's going to let you do whatever you want with his money? No.
And he ain't funding the Botox.
That was the food. That was the food. The Botox was. Sometimes you can be the Botox dude. You once you get past 25, you go from food dude to Botox dude. She tested him out. She said,
what does that require, Easton? You to give up the money.
Yeah, she thought that he was generous because he's a truck driver. I ain't gonna lie, Trey, I understand, but all my truck driver homies, they tricks. So
Trey trying to save you in the chat, and now you're calling him and his brethren tricks. Trey, don't save him. Do
I
not
like
save
this.
him.
You see what these dark
Don't
arts
save him.
Elsie is trying to show right now? I get what you're saying. I'm just saying I have a lot of truck driver homies and they're generous. And so what I'm saying is she tested him with the Botox. He said, nah. And then, she tested him with the Botox, the school, all that stuff. And then once he said, nah, she said, this cookie's on lockdown. And then she cleaned it up.
She was looking for him to cook, clean, and do everything else. Yes, she was. But again, he did not sound generous to be the food dude. We understand, Easton. We know people have dudes or, ladies for whatever the category, but he was not generous enough. Okay.
Actually, you know what? I got a question. This is for Trey Mac, and for anybody else who might know this, because I Googled the commercial truck driving instructors, and it don't look like they're making any real money. Like it was ranging from between 40 to 70,000. That's about the cap, which is decent money for an American.
That boy's making six figures. They pushing.
He making
instructors.
Yeah.
Yes. Them truck drivers is pushing peas. That's why I said they tricks. But you didn't hear that from me.
Y'all are funny, boy. Twins are fighting. It's crazy. Love it. All right, cool. I think you've answered the question clearly. And we're gonna move on to Sparkle Meg and Jordan. She didn't take him to the altar, Sparkle Meg. She decided that she would spare him the pain and said, it's just not gonna work. It's not you, it's me. And so I want to get you guys and ladies' perspective on this, like what you thought about Sparkle Meg and Jordan. He looked really cut up, can't lie to you. He looked really cut up, like he really looked like he was in deep. And I was like, I thought this brother was out here telling us he couldn't go here and there, left, right, and center. I thought he'd be relieved. I thought he'd be financially, emotionally, and mentally relieved. But he looked like he was not. He looked like he really cared about something, and he was hurt by Sparkle Meg not taking it further. I want to get you guys and ladies' thoughts on this situation. Yes, Siwa.
I think people are a little bit too polarized on this situation, and the answer is somewhere in the middle. I'm going to start with that. And I say that as a person who sympathizes with the different poles of this conversation, because at different points I have been on either side. At first, I was extremely agitated with Sparkle Meg. I feel like she wasted her own time. She wasted Jordan's time. She wasted our time. She wasted that baby's time. She wasted that baby mama's time. I was agitated. But the more I start to think and the more I played it back, I still agree with all of that, what I just said. But his inflexibility, his dryness, unwillingness to compromise, him kind of acting like I'm going to be tired and you deal with it. He got comfortable a little bit too fast for my taste. And he was kind of showing her how piss poor her life was going to be a little bit too soon for my taste. And I kind of feel like she tried to wave the flag, like, hey, like this ain't working. And he was kind of dismissive. And so again, I'm torn because I feel like a lot of the stuff that he ended up doing could have been seen, deciphered, understood even from the pods, and possibly before she did the absolute most to meet his son. And I think if she was less distracted by the diabetes of it all, the daddy matching the baby of it all, she would have kind of seen some of this stuff early instead of being hyper fixated on meeting his son. Because that still pisses me off, because I feel like if she was focused on the main thing, then she wouldn't have ever even tried to meet his son, because she would have figured out that, like, hey, we're not aligned. But I also feel like he was not trying to move at all, really, to meet her where she was at and to focus on the misalignment. And they were completely misaligned by the end. So I'm not mad she said no. I'm not mad that she, decided to back up. I just feel like if she was focused on what she should have been focused on, she wouldn't have involved his son in it. And that's the part I don't like. That's what I got.
I'm with you with that, because Jordan did ask her in the pods. We have different lifestyles. I am a simple guy in a 1-bedroom with a son. He explicitly said, are you sure this is what you want? She went through the process and she picked him. over Mike. She could have left with none of them. But again, we went through that. Jordan several times throughout the show kept telling her, kept kind of, calming her down. Like, hey, no. My son is a bonus, but this is between us, our relationship, what we are building with each other. And as you said, Siwen, as she said, Megan, she kept on the diabetes and the dad and the this and the that. And it's like, Megan, what about the building of the relationship? And I think that's what happened later on. That's where it was at the end of its tether where, now we want to focus on the relationship. And he stops talking, doesn't want to talk about his job, this and that. And Jordan ticked me off too, because he changed his mind. He said, I would love to be traveling with you and us being a family. And now here we are. Now it's tedious to travel with a 5-year-old. I think everybody came out. They decided to, when they lived with each other, realize this ain't for me. And I knew it the minute Megan was talking to the other ladies and she said, yeah, he has needs all hours of the night. I'm tired. The alarm goes off and we have to get up and do and provide for his son. I think that is what really made her realize this life was romanticized. I don't really think I can keep up with it. But it was really painful when he said, yeah, I regret her meeting my son. It's like, daggone it. That was daggers. And I really wish that she didn't have this make her doubt her plans on being a mother. It's like, this is one child. This is Jordan's child. This is this one situation. That doesn't mean you're not for motherhood in the future. But yeah, I felt this was not going to go anywhere at all from the pods. But hey, when he asked, she answered. I was like, they were going to be, smooth sailing. But, I just say you sign a contract at a certain point, tell your decision at the altar. That I'm tired of these couch breakups. I really am. I'm tired of it.
I'll say this gave me a lot of perspective in terms of how in some cases the relationship is where the man is making more money and the woman might be the single mom. And I think it gave me a lot of perspective because I felt like, Megan came in and kind of sold this bill of goods to Jordan, like this is how it's going to be. And which a lot of guys do to single moms, and they don't really kind of encompass or really understand how little time they have to operate in these spaces and like go on dates and stuff like that. It really was an eye-opening experience in terms of watching them. That being said, I think Megan was slightly wrong because that time while they were outside of the pods and outside of the honeymoon wasn't that long. It was only a couple of weeks. I'm like, let's just keep it a buck. He probably used all his PTO on that little vacation, on the being in the pods and the honeymoon. He came back and he saw his emails was 3,522, and he had to like answer them and reply back to them. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'll be stressed too if I'm coming back from work and if all of the rumors are true about the Sparkle Meg and it being inherited. Having money and like inheriting money is completely different than you like working day by day. Because if we're going to use these vague job titles, entrepreneur, I mean, that's a lot of things can be in between being an entrepreneur. And I'm saying that it seems like her level of freedom is different than just your traditional entrepreneur. So maybe it might be unrealistic. Maybe let that man go another quarter or two, let that PTO or something like that charge back up, and then we can go to Italy with Luca or whatever it may be. But that's my first issue. Jordan, I have an issue because he didn't introduce Luca to Megan. Brother, what is you doing? I understand that you might love her, but also you done fumbled the bag. This was terrible pay pig management. This was terrible. What you did was you could have had the life that you wanted. She was going to buy the house. All you had to do was just nod your head and just keep trucking along. But now you over here crying about introducing her to your son. You could have. I think if he would have maybe stretched himself a little bit thin and would have went with her on some of these dinner dates and and tennis games and stuff like that, he could have secured the bag. But no, what he want to do? He want to be lazy and tired. No, you gotta see it through, my boy. And that was his issue, is that he didn't see it through. But I'm happy that they're done. I mean, they lived completely different lifestyles.
So I'm of two minds on this as well. I think that Megan made the best decision for herself with the time available to her. I actually think this is the one couple that really would have benefited from more time, and they probably would have been all right. Because that it's not just her taking on being a stepmother to a child, it's also to a sick child. And I think that she wrongly assumed that because her father has type 1 diabetes, that she understood what that meant. But it's like, you're the child. It was never your responsibility to care for your father. If anything, that would have been on your mom to help with that. Like it never would have been on you to handle any of that stuff. So while you knew about that stuff adjacently, you're not responsible for any of that. But as a stepmom, you are. And it's going to be to a small child who can't tell you how he's thinking and feeling, which is why they have to monitor him so closely. So I think that she assumed that because her dad had it, that she understood what all of that was going to entail. And then it like kicked her right in the face. So that's on her for not being realistic about that sort of thing. But as far as the lifestyle conversation is concerned, I think that me personally, I'm with Jordan on that. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I understand that for other people, that's their number one value. Like they care about that the most. They want a partner who does the same things that they do. I don't need that. And I know there are other people who don't need that either. But I think Megan, I don't think she knows herself as well as she thinks she does. I don't think that she realized how much she values that, how important it is to her. So she wasn't able to convey that to Jordan because she herself didn't know that. That's the impression that I got from her. And I also think that as honest as Jordan was, I do think he sold her a little bit on himself. And I think you mentioned this, Elsa, because I totally forgot about this. When she was having conversations with Jordan and Mike, what sold her on Jordan, I could tell, and how she relaxed with him. He was painting her like an idea of what their life was going to be like. Yeah, we can have a family. We're going to be together and we're going to make love all day. That's the life that I want. That's what I want to do. And it's just like, okay, but in real life, your life is not like that. So you're telling her this one thing, and it's a very idealized version. And that's what sold her on Jordan. And I think also the fact that he was very chill with her. He was laid back. So he gave her time to process and to think through what she wanted to do. That's honestly his best quality. The fact that he allowed her to do that, that's what sold her on him. And so I think the issue is that not that his lifestyle is different, but that he's inflexible. And I took that to mean that he didn't really care about her all that much. I was genuinely surprised that he was crying over the ending. I was shocked behind that because he never gave that energy to her during their
we just didn't see that
interactions. We didn't see any of that. And so it's
well,
like
I don't think that it wasn't. That doesn't mean that it wasn't there, because even in the behind the scenes, you would have thought that he was just at the house the whole time. No, they were doing things outside of what they were showing us. It was just in the behind the scenes episode.
That's very strange to me. It feels like none of the couples were shown to have any dates that were not approved by Netflix. You know what I mean? Like we never really saw them just be together. We really only saw their problems. And so the impression that I got from Jordan was that he wasn't really into her like that. He could take her or leave her. And she was the one who was more so pursuing him. That's the impression that I got. So I was completely snowed when he over here crying and trying to keep himself together when she breaks up with him. So that's on production then. I wish that we had more time to see that. They spent literally six episodes of people in pods when we could have gotten more couples interaction, and we could get a better feel for how these people are and how they operate with each other. And I'm personally not a fan of that. So
yeah, because it kind of turned immediately. Like things were looking up and up for Jordan and Meg, and then you just see him, and it's like, oh, they're not communicating. There's issues and stuff like that. And I don't think that that's necessarily how it was. But that being said, somebody did say in the chat that he did say that he did use up all of his PTO during the honeymoon and the pods. So I can only imagine, like, I'm sure it probably did affect him a lot, and going back to work probably did affect him a lot more. And Megan, I don't think Megan really can empathize with having to do that. Not saying that she doesn't, maybe she does, but it's just like, if you're able to go on a Wednesday at 10 o'clock to go play the tennis and do all this traveling and stuff like that, brother, ma'am, you don't understand how it is to have limited PTO and coming back and you being like,
well, she
flustered.
was a C-suite exec, so she doesn't. She
Is
never
she-
had.
was she?
So, yeah, she had. The reason why she has that money is because the company, the oil and gas company that she worked for, got sold, and I guess she had bought a lot of stock, and so she was able.
I thought it was her dad.
accrue a lot
I
of
thought
money.
they said it was inherited.
Maybe that was her dad's company. I don't know, but she specifically said it in the pods. That's how she got her money, and so that's probably why her schedule, it never looked like his. So I don't think she was ever really going to be able to relate on that level.
She
Yeah,
told us she sold the company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said she sold, but I don't know the details. The company was sold and she has a crap ton of money. I think we were missing stuff between her and Luca Daddy and Ali and Anton. I think we were missing a lot from both of their stories to understand kind of the ins and outs. Personally, I do think it's more to what Dahlia was saying. I believe him, and I think Easton, you mentioned this, him needing to come back to work and kind of catch up to work and stuff like that, and you have somebody who's like, let's go play tennis, let's go golfing, let's go this. It's not that he doesn't like her, he's just trying to balance his life.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it was hurtful. The tears is probably hurtful because he's like, Dick, I liked you, I was trying to make it work, but it just wasn't going to be enough. And so honestly, it just is what it is. I also think, and I'm sure now we see she got a baby or something, we'll see what's going on with that. A person like her, and now she probably realizes, was never going to be okay with his lifestyle. Maybe she thought she would. Now she knows she wouldn't. Maybe this was the experience that she needed to figure out. Because I think she had told herself a lie that she could be with a man in a 1-bedroom. And now she's like, man, I guess these things, these status, this part of life matters more to me than I thought. So
I will say this much, and this is where I disliked Megan. When they were breaking up, she told him it was about lifestyle. But when she was talking to production in the one-on-one interview, she mentioned Luca. So it's like, okay, well, which is it? Is it the lifestyle or is it Luca? And I got the feeling that it really was more so about the baby, and she just didn't want to. She didn't want to tell him that. I think that probably would have broke him. So now he's walking away thinking that it's a money situation. And I don't think that it is. I think it really is down to Luca, because that's what she was breaking down when she was questioning her own maternal instincts, whether or not she could even be a mom. And to be honest with you, that was the first time I ever actually liked Megan. Like, because that's real. I mean, as women, I question that. Like, damn, am I fit to be somebody's mama? I mean, you wonder about stuff like that. I got a buttload of brothers and sisters and a ton of cousins and stuff that I've helped raise, but it's different when they're your responsibility. You know what I mean? So that I felt like that was an honest moment of reflection, and I appreciated them leaving that in, and I appreciated her being vulnerable enough to talk about that sort of thing. I think that's legit, and yeah, I think that those are questions that she probably should have asked before she came on the show, though. That's those are some things you need to grapple with before then. But yeah, I think it was more so about Luca than it was about that lifestyle.
But she mentioned the lifestyle too much as well, Dahlia.
But
It was a lifestyle. It was a lifestyle.
But not on the
Travel.
exit interview.
Well, we don't know how it was snipped up.
We
Because they're
don't.
probably tired of hearing
that's
her
true.
say that.
That's true.
They're probably tired of hearing her say that. And that is more impactful to say, I don't know if I'm fit to be a mother. If I was editing, I would cut all that. He can't play tennis. We can't travel. We can't do. I'll cut all that out for that focal point.
Yeah.
That, and then also I think Eric, or at least an angle we didn't look at, is like her friends didn't seem like they were like the most sold on Jordan. And I don't know about y'all, but I know if you don't got buy-in by the friends, it ain't gonna work. And it just seemed like maybe there's some like backhanded embarrassment about picking somebody, and they even recognized that she was connecting with or over connecting about Luca. But I think that also when I see a Caucasian woman with the little cowboy hat and she just wearing it inside the building, she got a little coin. I said, yeah, they not really checking for Jordan. They got too much going on for him, and it just wasn't gonna work out. I think
No, that's production though. Okay, so just as tired as that bachelor party was, the Bachelorette was even more so tired. You saw they rented out that little that little meeting space. That looked like something my family would have scrounged up money for to have a little reunion. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, we
that.
would have had a family reunion there. We would have had a good family reunion there.
Edmund said he did not want to do the cowboy thing anymore, so they had to do the Winter Wonderland. That's why they had to.
I mean, the cabin area was very nice, but I mean those parties were terrible, and I think Kinetic knew we not having no yeses, so why bother spending any more money on this? That was a tip off to everybody.
But yeah, Megan's friends knew she was slumming. I mean,
yeah, she knew that, and that's one thing. She looked like she was embarrassed. Jordan wasn't gonna be able to do anything. He wouldn't even be the cool person, like, you know, that they broke, but they able to like hold everything or be the bag carrier. Jordan didn't see that because he's also very prideful. Like, also by looking at the relationship, you can see like in some of these cases, the guy don't really care about the money or the accolades. And to me, it seemed like he didn't. He was the epitome of, I don't care about what you got going on, so much that he fumbled the bag. So I mean, I think that there's some credence to when people do say that about guys and girls, but I think the lifestyle was the issue for Megan.
I mean, I think she tried to buy him. So personally, I think that's also a real thing. I think the amount that she spoke about the money, how much money she had, it was, I wouldn't say even cringy, but it was definitely a power play going to a 6-bedroom house when you damn right know that man has not got the money for the 6-bedroom house. It's like £2 million, whatever it was, to buy that damn house, and it was unnecessary. You got one kid. Okay, darling, we do not need a 6-bedroom house and where we will go into. Like, that in itself is, I want to call it what it is. It was arrogant. If it was a man holding this amount of money and he was doing that to a woman, we were looking at him like, is this nigga being arrogant? He's like arrogant. He's being a little bit of an arrogant prick. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you trying to show off. You're trying to show off a little bit. You're trying to show us how much money you got, and that is it's a turn off for anybody. You know what I'm saying, Chu? So I think she was trying to buy him. I can't lie to you. And what she discovered was she can't buy him. So he needed to be a dumb blonde, and he wasn't a dumb blonde. That was also the biggest issue too. A dumb blonde would have given her a little bit more power, a little bit more control, a little bit more of her be able to flex. And you're right, he would have then been able to go around the world with her with no questions asked. He would have been a handbag, but he wasn't doing that. Now, I also think that he's got his own issues, Jordan, because there was too much inflexibility. I'm sorry. Brother, we could have gone to tennis on a weekend. We could have gone and done some dates at the Louvre or wherever you need to go to in a couple of weeks' time. Okay, we didn't have to stick it to there. It could have been a little bit later on. And so for me, it felt a bit like for Jordan, it was more of a case of like, he feels like she's flexing and he ain't gonna let her flex. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you the truth. It really did. He put his foot down unnecessarily. The whole conversation about her going to tennis, the whole point of going to tennis, it didn't need to stick as, well, you want to go to tennis. I don't, you make concessions when you like people. And people who are inflexible, yeah. Elsa, you shake your head because you wouldn't do it, and we know why. Because you're a dismissive avoidant. So we know you.
He can't do it.
No, he can
do it. He has no PTO, Kojo.
No. Hold on. If he's got no PTO, you don't need to be on the show. If you got no room to do anything else, you do not need to be on the show.
I said that when he said he cannot financially support another human being when he was in a men's lounge. I've said that.
I hear that. So my thing is this. And that's what I'm saying. I'm going to say it again. I say it about the ladies about liking a woman, about liking a man, sorry. And I'm going to say something about men. If this Negro liked her enough, he would have moved the earth and the moon. He did not. He did not like her enough. It's that simple. We need to stop pretending, because I do the same thing to the ladies. When they don't like that man, like the way Alina did not like Anton, it's the same way. He liked the idea of her. He did not like her. That's the honest truth. He liked the idea of her. He was not bought and sold by her. It wouldn't, because he would have shifted that whole idea. You know what? Okay, I work 6 days. You know what? I'm gonna find a way. I won't find a way because I like you. And it's early doors. So you use all that energy you have in the early doors at least to try and find some solutions. We didn't get one solution. What we got was, I'm not going to move and I'm not going to do this. You want to go tennis on a weekend? You want to do this? And it's a shutdown. And it's immediate shutdowns. Whenever I see someone do immediate shutdowns, it tells me that they're not balanced in themselves. It tells me that that person also, and I never usually talk about the men feeling some type of way, but he definitely felt some way. It's not that he felt like he was a brokey, but he felt like she was flexing. And the only way to get at somebody when they're flexing you is to put your foot down.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying to you? That's the way he's thinking about it. But again, that's an unbalanced perspective, because he didn't have to necessarily put his foot down and say none at all. What he could have said was, hey, here's a suggestion. First of all, the 6-bedroom house, it's not going to work. Financially, it's not going to work. Let's just be honest. 6-bedroom house, we don't need it. Let's choose a house a bit more smaller. I want to be able to contribute. Boom. Then this thing about going around the world, baby girl, right now, PTO is a bit short, but let me tell you this now. Look, give me a few months. My PTO comes back, or even saying, listen, I can do maybe a weekend or whatever, or 1 or 2 days, whatever I can do during the course of the next few weeks. I can slip it in, and we can go for that. Or even if it's a day. Even if it's just a day, look, right now we go for a day event or whatever, and we come back. Something needs to be done so you can spend time. You know what I'm saying, Chu? I'm sorry. I hear it. You're a single dad. Your son has got whatever he's got, and I hear it. I definitely hear you. But if this was a woman who was single mother with a kid like this and being this inflexible, you know what I would say to that man? Leave her ass, because she don't like you, because she ain't willing to make no concessions. She ain't willing to change. She ain't willing to open herself up. What's the point of being with her? What's the point of being with you?
I agree with you. You're actually missing a part, because if you'll recall, she went and looked at houses on her own, talking about they're in good school districts. Ma'am, that is not your place. He has a mama. Okay. He's already in a school district. They don't need you to step in and domineer like that, number one. And two, on Jordan's side, because I actually agree with the men on this one. Picnics are free, and pickleball and tennis is cheap. Okay, there's stuff that you can do, because she mentioned pickleball, she mentioned tennis. That stuff is cheap. You're not gonna sit here and tell me that you can't take 2 hours out of your day to go do those things. Y'all can go. This is Denver. I've lived there. They have trails out the yin yang. You go sit here and tell me y'all can't go walk hand in hand on a walking trail and
but
just
they were doing
spend some time with each other? There's so much stuff that you can do. If brokies can do it, come on now, y'all can go figure it out. And she was begging him. Hey, let's go do some stuff together. I want to talk to you.
But they were. They were. Elsie go, but they were. The behind the scenes shows you that they were doing something. Now, to me, Megan seems like the type of person that every single day you got something planned. Oh, we in Italy today. We gonna be playing pickleball in the Alps tomorrow. We gonna be in the Sahara Desert the next day. She don't seem like the type of person like, oh, because if we go on a trip, maybe this will give me a little cushion for a week or two. If we go out on a dinner date, this will give me a week, little cushion, cool down time. No, Megan seemed like the type of person that you need to have activities, arts and crafts, snacks every single day, all the way all the way. And if I'm looking at the behind the scenes, they were doing stuff. Now, it wasn't shown to us, but it seems like she's very, very needy of having a companion to do activities with. But I'll say it. I'll let you go because you've been waiting patiently. Are you dismissive, avoidant? Is that what Kojo said?
What it don't matter what I am. Okay, I'm listening to them. Megan kept saying she wants someone who had a flexible schedule so they could just up and go. She said that. She wants to do the Wednesday tennis or pickleball. Okay, she said, I want you to be able to pick up and go for the weekend this weekend with me and my friends. I want you to be able to just go and do this. Yes, of course, he can't do that. He can't. And y'all, and I think sometimes someone in Megan's position, she has that freedom. Her finances allow her the freedom to do as she will. And yes, Dahlia, I understand somebody will take their lunch break and go and do that. But she gonna have to explain, oh yeah, he got to go back to work. He's only here for 30 minutes. We're not talking about she's going to the community pickleball place. She's not. She's going to the country club to play tennis. Come on now, Dahlia. She ain't playing round the way at the YMCA. Okay?
Then she's delusional because
She
Jordan
is.
was upfront with her from day dot. He told her.
She is delusional from the beginning, from the pods. She wanted to make it work fine, but she did not put the tire to the road. She did not figure out how this is going to work. You said she was delusional with, oh, I found this is a great school system. Delusional that his son's mother is going to agree for the son to what, live with them to go to their school district? I mean, come on. But she wanted someone to be financially flexible. He had to work to rebuild his PTO. We know this is an average dude. Easton, you were talking about that. This is an average dude. He's got to work. He got to manage his staff. He has a 1-bedroom, so he could afford other things for his son. Fine. He's trying to do the best he can. Fine. But when you're asking him to extend, you're asking him to do some regular stuff that is not going to be as valued by Megan. You're talking about a picnic is free. You're talking about, pickleball in the community park. That is not going to be valuable. I'm sorry. It's not going to translate with her in what we saw in this edited show. He does not have the time, meaning the PTO built up, and he has to work. And he has a son that does take priority. So again, she got a taste of the life and it don't work. And that's okay, because it's better she figures it out now than to drag it out.
I mean, listen, I'm not mad at it. I definitely think they're incompatible. But again, I think, again, what we have to, I'm looking at it from an angle of, you're going to have to work on this, whether it's with her or with someone else. It doesn't matter if they're incompatible. What's important is that Jordan did not offer those things of what we saw. From what we see on the camera, he did not offer those things. He actually shut it down. That was my issue with Jordan. Jordan did not offer any other solutions. He didn't. He shut it down. So at that point, when I see you shut it down, I do have to ask that question: are you willing to be able to be flexible? Because like a picnic, it generally is free. But you know why it's free? Because she was asking you just to tell you about her day. So a picnic is free. You could have done a picnic. Should have been happy with a picnic. You could have done pickleball. Should have been happy with pickleball. You could have done tennis. Should have been happy with tennis. So those things he could have done. He didn't want to do those things. Now, I also understand, because I did a video about it. I understand that he felt some type of way about the way she was talking to him. I have no problem with that. That's where he should have. What Jordan's problem is it does not know how to initiate boundaries. That's his biggest issue. And because of that, he allows things to happen, and then he gets frustrated and resentful about it. And then it comes out as, I'm putting my foot down. I know I'm seeing myself in Jordan, and I see it. When you don't know how to set a boundary from the very beginning, this is what you get. Because you know what should have happened? The immediate moment she took you to a 6-bedroom house and said, oh, this is a great school district, is the first thing she would have said, hey, I've told you before, this can't run. I've told you about the fact that he has a mother, and this ain't gonna work for me if you keep doing that aspect. You shut it down immediately, right? You let the person know so that your resentment doesn't build up. This whole thing about flying around, it could have been, listen, hey, I want to make you sure I can only stretch to a certain point. Here's what I can do. I can do tennis on a Sunday because my PTO done. So Sunday, we can do tennis. We can play that. We can do pickleball. We can go to a whatever place. I don't know, and chill and vibe, right? And my PTO going work and come back in a couple months' time. I have my PTO back again, right? This is somebody who's trying to make lengths happen. He did not do that from what we saw. Okay, now there might be some other clips, but I ain't seen them. For what I can see, he did not do that. This is not about just blaming him. I'm saying in the sense of that this is an area he can work on, because I'm going to tell you this now. He will find the right girl and he will do the exact same thing with that right girl. He will do the exact same thing. Do you know why? Because it's training. It doesn't matter how much you like that woman or that man. This is something that you will do even with the person you like. So when I highlight that, it's for him to know that next time, even if it's not Megan, there's another girl you like. Even if it's not Megan. So what? A normal woman comes into your life. So 6 out of the 7 days, you're working all the time. They should also wait and suffer for you as well. We're not going to do nothing. We're just going to sit there for 6, 7 days. You ain't going to talk. You ain't going to have no conversation with me. So a normal person going to come into your life and they're going to have to do what Megan did and just suffer the same way. Get the frick out of it. Jordan, if you don't fix up, you're going to be lonely and alone. And stop using the fact that you're a single dad as an excuse. I wouldn't give it to a woman as an excuse as to why you're not showing up in a relationship. Your ass needs to show up. Okay? It needs to show up and it needs to have boundaries and you need to let the person know this has gone too far for me. That's all we're saying. Okay? Megan, I've already smoked Megan, so I don't need to smoke her again. He just needs to be able to put better boundaries in place. Otherwise, you're going to suffer. You're going to be lonely. So you're working every single day. Is that what life is about? Working every single day. You're going to suffer, bro. It's lonely.
But have you ever thought about how stubborn you have to be to get a vasectomy in your 20s? We all should have known that Jordan really don't listen. He got a vasectomy in his 20s.
He said he raw dog the whole time. He ain't wasting nothing. Raw dog Jordan. That's a shame.
You know how many people like advise against that? My point is you have to be a very bullheaded, very stubborn, very interesting individual to get a vasectomy in your 20s. So I don't think he listening to nothing that is said on here and no place else, because his way or no way. He trying to do stuff his way. And that's why he crying with the tears floating down his cheeks, because he's like, dang, it ain't work. So
I agree. This is why he needs to get himself and get his ass into shape quick. You know what I'm saying to you? I don't know any man them that have vasectomy that early. You know what I'm saying to you? Maybe it was the fact that he had a child that's
he must have been living his life on the edge. He was living his life on the edge.
He's one and done. The problem is he's not one and done. He over here talking about he looked up the percentages of reversal. Who gets a vasectomy with the plan of getting a reversal?
He was living his life on the edge. Luke, he almost had an accident, oops moment potentially, and he was just like, you know what? I know what's in me, so I'm gonna just go ahead and snip it off before I can even make another mess up.
Seaway, I gotta say that the 20-somethings around my son, they are considering it at 25.
Wait,
which is wild.
Wait, say it again.
The 20-something-year-old young men.
Them red pill done got to them folks. They said
they are
kids.
truly considering it, and I find it wild.
Well, fantastic, because if the red pill community is trying to do that, then good on them. That's good news.
They said women gonna take you for half.
Whatever. Some of them should not be breeding anyway. So that's fine.
If a vasectomy per podcast, Mike, fantastic. That's not bad news. But I'm just saying, if you are doing it with the idea of getting a reversal, you're not thinking, you're being very, Now, if he did it, if he looked up his genetics and was like, I can't mentally take another child with, type 1 diabetes, and I think this is genetic on my end, and he wants to get a vasectomy, I don't have no problem with that. I mean, that makes sense. Okay, you mentally and physically feel like you can't do it. Then fine. I don't know.
Jordan just talking. He was never really serious about having another baby, I don't think. Because to your point, if you're willing to do that in your 20s, and this is coming off the back end of having a sick child, it's because you don't want no more daggone kids. And I do think he wanted to go raw without having to worry about that. I really do. So I think he's telling Megan, oh yeah, I can do it and it shouldn't be any issues. I don't think Megan actually did her proper research, because the doctors who performed that say something very differently. Who knows how long he had that vasectomy? That's every year that you have that, your fertility levels drop. Okay. I don't care if they reattach them wires. That does not mean that there's a current running through it. Okay.
Well, maybe that's another reason why Megan said, you know what, I'm good, because he done also went out there and got a vasectomy.
He done lost his spark.
Easton, you couldn't resist.
Stop.
Look, I'm trying to give the people something to laugh at. Look, that boy Jordan, Megan got enough money that she would have reversed this. She would have Benjamin buttoned this thing up. He would have been all right. She would have flew him to Italy or to Germany or got some stem cells, and he would have been A-okay. We over here putting hypotheticals together. He would have been all right.
Not on a PTO that he ain't got. He would definitely wouldn't have done anything. He ain't leaving the country for nothing. Then PTO gonna stop him and Meg. Sorry, Steve, you finish your thought? Sorry.
I think so. I mean, people in the comments are saying that he is really capped, that he wanted a reversal, and he really ain't want a reversal. And if I go with that and agree with that, I mean, then we have different problems, because what the heck is going on? Why everybody lying to themselves and lying to everybody else? That's part of the problem. I don't know.
I hear you. I hear you. My brother said he ain't gonna have no more. All right, let's talk. Obviously, the last one. KB and Edmund. The the situation is political. Okay, KB shed them tears like Jordan did. She felt some type of way about having to release that Pokemon back into the wild. Okay, and after training him, and using him at various gyms, she recognizes that this Pokemon is a little bit Confucius, and so she's back in, going around to collect her new Pokemon. But look, KB and Edmund at the altar, she said no, and she let him down gently, as gently as she could, and there was a soft landing, and there was a wail and a cry. We now have to add Edmund to the cry reel, because him and Jared's cries are, they fill the streets to this day. Okay, all right, them cries there.
Don't forget Kwame.
Kwame's crying. But did Kwame make the noise?
Yes, he was bawling in that towel.
Okay, so I have to add we've got 3 black men in this place. I'm about to say 3 black mice, but we got 3 black men in that place bawling the way they did. So then we have to add them to the list now, unfortunately, of gladiator cries. So I want to get you guys' perspective and ladies' perspective. How do we see the KB and Edmund situation? What do we view it as? A lot of people were complaining that she took him to the altar. Some people said they felt like, she had every right to take him to the altar. It's a part of the show. It's what's meant to happen. And, in essence, she gave him so many chances, and, old boy just couldn't fit the criteria for her to choose her. You know what I mean? And I want to get you guys' perspective. Like, how do you see it? How do ladies see it? Did you see it that way? What did you see as? Let me know.
Coach O, you was dead wrong. She did not let softly.
Wow, Eastern ladies.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, go ahead. I didn't
know. I didn't know that Coach O said dismissal avoidance. I thought he said, security. That was right.
He said ladies.
I am
ladies.
His own one.
I didn't say anything. Yo, listen, it's the twins.
He said ladies, and Easton jumped in.
I don't know what was said.
Well,
LC, go, LC, go.
Easton wanted to be oppressed. He wanted oppression, so maybe he wanted to talk.
Go for it, guys. Who was go for it? Sorry, was it? I didn't know if I said ladies. I don't know if I said ladies first.
You said ladies, but Elsa can
go.
Go, LC, go.
God, my bad. I'll take it back. Sorry, ladies. I didn't realize.
Go, Elsa.
She did the assignment. Sorry, I was welcoming the new member. She recognized the assignment. The assignment was to go into the to go to the altar and give her decision. I'm not going to go after her about that at all. That is what it was. So if we're gonna roast her about that, then there's a whole host of people we gotta roast in Love Is Blind about taking that person to the altar. Okay. Edmund also, he signed up for the show. He knew it was a decision at the altar. He hoped for a yes. Yes, he definitely did. He thought that was going to be his wife. He thought he was going to be in the boom boom room that night. Not going to happen. Not happening. I think she let him down as gently as she could. But what rubbed me the wrong way with the day was at the end, in trying to talk, to him and lighten his spirits, when the teacher called her a sapphire, not a diamond, and tried to devalue her. I just, any kind of tears that my cold heart had for the moment dried up that moment. I didn't like it. And that could just be me. I could be just hypersensitive and oversensitive to the way she was speaking. But you know, Edmund is out here saying that he's seeing stuff and he's just letting it roll off his back, and people trying to diagnose him need to stop. So yeah, I'm gonna treat him like I treat anyone else who is a contestant on this show. This is what happened. I'm sure you were hopeful, but hey, it's better now than to be married and then at reunion time, all of a sudden you 90 days divorced. So, but I knew it was coming. The minute you called him out of his name, I'm just mad at him for saying yes when you got disrespected like that. I got more smoke for him saying yes than for her saying no. That's all I got.
I'm surprised by that. Okay. So I've been talking about KB up till now, trying to treat her like one of the other women from the pods. But I've already, you weren't here on the live, Easton, but I already told you my dark theory, which is that she was always going to choose Edmund. She was here specifically for a brand deal. She never really liked him like that. I don't think that was ever an option. So that's how I'm going to approach it for this particular episode, because to me, it was most abundantly clear then. That gentle no that she gave him started when she first got to the cabin and she sent her mama to go like ease him on into it. Cause how she was handling him, it felt very social workery. Like, first of all, her mom and her, they look exactly alike and they have the same voice. And I want her to be my social worker. She seems like she's a very nice, sweet lady, but she's firm. And like the way she was talking to him, she was trying to speak life into him, and it didn't feel like she was telling him, "I'm so excited for you to be my future son-in-law." That's not what she was saying. And I think Edmund was too excited to really hear her. We're gonna get to him in a second. When I think back to what KB was saying, she was saying with her mouth, she's so happy that she loves him, she loves him, she loves him. That's her baby. But her expression was saying something very different. It's like, I'm so excited to be with him. I really love him. That's my baby. You know, like her affect was totally different. Her face can't lie. Her words can, but her face can't. So she's not as good of an actress as she thinks that she is. I think that it was her no was really weird. I don't know if you guys caught this, but when she was trying to make Edmund feel better at the altar, she was doing these compliments with him and she was saying all this nice stuff. And then she told him, you know, baby, you're my biggest stepping stone. And I was like, what? Excuse me? Who? KB, if you don't get your ass up out of here, get away from this man. I was waiting for his family to step in and just like remove her, just because it's like it felt like she had stuck that knife in and now you twisting it. Just go. You trying to like do this soft landing thing, it's not cute anymore. Just stop. Because he's really hurting and you're asking him if he's okay. I appreciate him being honest. Like, no, I'm not freaking okay. You just told me no and humiliated me in front of all the people that I care about. I got my teacher out here for this. The fact that he brought his teacher with him, his daddy showed up, he was crying because his mama wasn't there. That lets me know he really thought this was going to be a yes. I don't think that she ever conveyed to him that she was going to say no. And this is why I got heat for KB, because everybody else knew except for Edmund. She was lying to him, telling him that she wanted him to shoot her club up, that she can't wait to be his wife. She literally, right up and through her nose, she's telling this man that she loves him. He's her baby. It's like, why are you doing that? I don't like that, because it's one thing for you to tell him that you're going through the process and you're figuring it out, right? Because that's what a lot of these other people were doing. But for you to just straight up lie like that, because that's what she was doing, she was lying. For you to lie like that, I don't think that was cool. And I will say this much though: that scene with Edmund and his teacher, It felt like I was watching The Blind Side. I never, now I didn't see the movie, but I read the book, and I was getting, yeah, I was getting some serious Blind Side views, and his teacher is very sweet though. I really like her. It's very clear that he has a strong relationship with her. That's his mama right there, y'all. That's not his teacher. Okay. He has a mother, but his mama is Miss Jessie. That's why she was walking him down the aisle and not his daddy. That's why his brothers, their wives, none of them were there, but Miss Jessie was there. That's his real family. And I thought that it was very sweet that she was really there for him. That's the power of a good teacher. Um, I I don't know. I heard from one of the other people in the chat that Edmund got recruited. I genuinely thought that he applied. I didn't know that he got recruited. And now I understand because I've heard, I think you even said, I don't know if you said this or not, but that production was like amping him up, telling him to like behave a certain way. And I thought that was post psych test. I didn't realize that they already knew from jump what he was like and specifically recruited him for that. That's some wicked work right there. That's real nasty because I don't think he was aware. I'm not saying this man is slow. He's not slow. I'm saying I don't think that he's aware that that's what they were using him for. I think emotionally, I don't think he understands like you're meant to be like you're the underdog. You're like you're like the underdog who gets run over at the end of the story. We're crying because we feel bad for him. Like that's what you're supposed to be, huh?
He's the butt of the joke. That's what you were. I get kind of like.
Yeah.
He was trying to be the butt of the joke.
Yeah, I didn't like that. So that's really my takeaway here. I don't know. I felt gross after watching it. It was actually very sad. Because it felt like everybody knew except for him what she was gonna do right up until she said no. So yeah, that's really all I have for them.
I gotta put some accountability on the table. I watched the season. I think it's good to watch the results and then watch it back and see how things kind of transpired. The saddest part wasn't him crying, although it might have been a little bit hilarious to everybody. But I was kind of again saying this from the get-go is when he was saying that he's tried everything, and it resonated not necessarily with me, but it resonated with him in KB's first discussion about being the nice guy. It seems to me that Edmund has always been trying to be in a relationship, or seems like he's always pursued somebody, and he's either been kind of let down softly. And the easiest way you can be kind of let down is, oh, you're so sweet and you're so nice. And I think that that's kind of what triggered him in the first couple of episodes that we saw. Neither here nor there. I don't put I put a little bit of blame on Edmund, but I put a lot on KB. And the reason why is there's so many ways that you could have gotten out of this situation without extending this. She played in that man's face. I don't even know why she even was intimate in some capacity. I don't know what they were doing. I have my thoughts because, they were doing something of intimate nature in the bed at some point, if we go back to what we watched in the first couple of episodes. But now we don't know where that landed. She could have told him beforehand, like Joey did Monica, that, hey, I don't think that we're meant for each other and I'm going to say no. And they could have had their little thing. They could have walked up there, walked hand in hand down after they said this isn't the right time, and left with some dignity. But she didn't. We coming up with all this headcanon and theories. She did this because she wanted to. She saw the light at the end of the tunnel. She saw that she was going to get used by production. He was going to get used by production. And she said, hey, if I'm going to do it, let me get something at the end of the tunnel. And that's what I feel like is the nasty, nefarious part about this whole situation. She could have not let him on about, oh, I'm ready to have kids, Edmund. I'm wanting to, I'm ready to start a family. I'm shoot the club up. Like, she giving him all these cues along the way that she is ready, that she is seeing Edmund as a potential option, and she never gave him a heads up like, hey, this isn't going to work out. And that is the problem. That is why, like, I don't have a lot of sympathy for KB, and I don't think she wants any. I think that she came on here with ulterior motives. I don't think that she came on here with the best intentions. And if hopefully she does get some brand deals off that, I ain't trying to stop her from making no money, but all money ain't good money, and her being played or being a ploy in the cogwheel of this Love is Blind stuff, it ain't gonna last long. You ain't gonna get nearly as many followers as you thought you was. The brand deals aren't gonna sustain as much as they want, and you're gonna have to do stuff that you don't want to do to continue to maintain what you got. But we knew this. People was gonna defend her, and they still are. But I was really disgusted with that whole episode. And even if Edmund doesn't say that he has any issues, if you watch that interview, he was struggling like a newborn on an Easter Sunday trying to get his speech out. And I know good and dang well that, like, everybody knows that there's something there. We don't know what it is. He might be high functioning, but I'm just disappointed in how people knew something was wrong with him from the first episode. And even when with the whole coercion thing like that, y'all gonna judge this man as if he was just like this out of this one moment. I just felt like this whole season was really icky. I feel like production took advantage, but also KB could have shut it down by not being a tool in the cog of this experiment, and she didn't. And so it is what it is, but I don't have any sympathy for her. I hope she gets all the money deals and everything that she does. But yeah, KB, you accountable for this because you played your part.
Yeah, for me, this is just kind of simple. To what Easton's point, I think everybody around Edmund and even the people who are casually watching, who are trying to, I guess in a way, not to pacify him or ignoring what is right in front of us. I watched his interview trying to explain how he's not autistic, and it really disturbed me because he couldn't even explain coherently why he wasn't autistic. All he did while explaining that he wasn't autistic is show that there's something off. Again, I don't know if it's autism. I don't know what it is. It could be fetal exposure to substance abuse. It could be trauma. It could be all of these things. But the fact that nobody around him has tried to get him an occupational therapist, a psychiatrist, some type of therapy, all of those to figure out, what he would really need to function appropriately, really shows the lack of a community, a lack of a family around you, a lack of people who's going to tell you not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear, can be very detrimental. And that's how he got exploited, because there's been too many people around him telling him that he's just a little different. He's just a little quirky, or whatever lies that people are telling him. He should have been seeing an occupational therapist, a psychiatrist, and a psychologist. He should have been seeing these people. Because, even in your 20s, there's things that you can do to kind of work on, whatever this is. But instead, people trying to pacify it. Oh, he's just different. Oh, he's smart, so he's okay. That's how he just got exploited by Netflix. And to KB, there's two options for me. KB is also off, very off, or she's not a good person. I don't know if it's one, the other, or both. I don't know if she's also dealing with her own issues, because a lot of people who are also dealing with psychological issues, who also deal with trauma, tend to go into fields of social work and in psychology and psychiatry. They'll say that. And so I wonder what she's dealing with that led her to this type of carrying on. Because even if she decided to take it to the altar, like has been said multiple times, some type of heads up leading to a situation like this would have been warranted, because you saw how Netflix protected the white people, the white family, protected Luca family, the child, everyone, but they were okay with exploiting Edmund. That's what stood out to me. We were okay with protecting the baby, Luca family, and everything from complete embarrassment, even Luca. But we were okay with embarrassing Edmund. And the fact that his family didn't even come, that was so sad. No, I did not really like everything that the teacher said, but the fact that she was the only one there, I just ignored whatever the hell she was saying because I was just happy someone was there.
Well, the reason why you saw that though is because nobody was there to protect Edmund. The reason why we never saw Luca was because Jordan was there, and like we already agreed, this man is stubborn and he's clearly very protective of his child. So he was never going to allow them to exploit his kid like that. That's why we never saw him. I don't even think we heard his voice. But Edmund don't have that from anybody else. Who does he have protecting him?
And
He
it
doesn't
wasn't
know
even
that
Jordan.
they're
It was
using
Jordan
him for
baby
that.
mama. Remember, it was Jordan baby mama. Jordan, eyes wide open, was thinking about going along with it. It was the baby mama who said hell no. Thank God for her.
Fair enough. Okay. But somebody was.
Yeah, but your point, somebody was. No one was there to protect Edmund, and that level of exploitation bothered me really bad. And to me, KB, again, to me, you're either a bad person or off as hell yourself. Because, and I don't know which one it is with KB, to be honest, because sometimes it felt like she wasn't acting. Sometimes it felt like she was legitimately discussing things with Edmund as if he had the range for it, which was starting to make me confused if she doesn't have the range either. Because I was just like, you were going back and forth with this man as if he can fully comprehend everything that you're saying. Just because he's intelligent doesn't mean he emotionally can understand, apply, and do the things that she was asking. So I'm like, KB, are you touched as well?
It was an upsetting interaction all the way around. Again, the fact that they were somewhat intimate at some point in time, and I don't know if that stopped or what, but they were intimate at some point in time, according to both of them. So I think that is a little bit that makes.
Where are you getting this from? Where you get the information from? Did I miss that?
She said it. They said it. They was doing something. They both her and Edmund said that they were doing something. They just said that they didn't go all the way. They didn't do the intercourse.
Okay.
So I said, this is interesting. Even the discussions about starting a family, like I feel like she was always dangling a carrot. Production, we can yes, production, but this could have been easily ended even if she would have just did a Monica and Joey and just say, hey, today's not our day, and then walked off and they sit and let it be. He wouldn't have been embarrassed. But one thing I also know is I saw that look from that white woman, and that's somebody you don't cross. She gonna put some West Virginia voodoo on KB because that white woman looked she was so mad. She was scowling so much. I said, that's one person you don't cross. It's just nasty. And twin, you said it, I can't say it no better. I don't wish no bad on nobody, but Jesus, KB ain't giving me no reason to root for her.
Yeah, but I do, Kojo, want your homeboy Clay to give it a rest when it comes to these seasons. I need him to give it a rest, Kojo. He's killing me.
I mean, he made a solid point. I can't lie to you.
It was valid.
He always makes a solid point in between some mess. His points be made. They be valid. But it's just like
he just wants a fair trial for that if he's gonna get shot, everyone gonna get shot. You know what I mean?
You're not gonna get it. I've said this time and time again. Depending on who Black women and women find to be the victim, you're never gonna get a fair trial. People have decided that AD was a victim. I don't agree. But there's people who go very, very hard. If you're really got it all up here, you would just move on. You're never going to be able to relitigate that.
I hear it, but I think that's easy to say when it's not your reputation on the line
or your businesses.
Right?
His reputation is being harmed by yapping. If he would just actually stop yapping, he could actually repair his reputation. He's only harming his reputation by doing this.
Yes, but also we have to remember that the person may also feel some type of way about the fact that it has gone that way. And I think it's fair for him to be able to speak up. I think also by saying that we're muting him and saying he shouldn't be able to talk, we're saying that men shouldn't be able to talk about when they're off
Oh
unfairly
no,
done
we're
dirty.
not saying men should not be able to
That
talk.
sounds
No,
on
but
brand for
that's what
Seaway.
you were just
That
saying.
sounds on.
You basically were to say that.
I'm
That sounds
Wasn't
on
flapping his
brand.
gums,
his
but you know what I
yapping.
mean? Wasn't flapping his gums, but it's like
No,
he's defending
that's not
himself.
what I'm saying.
There's nothing
I'm
wrong with
saying
defending himself.
his yapping is actually counterproductive, is what I'm saying. And the same thing would be if Alex, who a lot of you men jumped on for this and that, who I actually really liked, if Alex got on here, and I talked about this with Sean, he agreed with me. If she wanted to get on here and yap about the things that we didn't see and the things that we didn't know, whatever, we'll be on here all day. People have made up their mind. When people make up their mind about you, the best thing you could do is move forward. But hell, if he wants to keep doing it, he looks crazy. So that's it is what it is.
I just feel like it never.
Again, you're making the point again. If I'm crazy for speaking up about the fact that there's an injustice against me about the way people are treating me, that's not on us. That's
but
on
it's
him
not
to say
just an
quiet.
injustice. There's so many things that are being left out. There are so many things that led to people's actual perception, including and not limited to how he's carrying on now. The stuff that he did, I don't want to relitigate. I could go all day about the reasons why people are mad at Clay. Valid and not invalid to a lot of people. But all of this yapping makes it look like you're just doing stuff for intention, which was actually one of the charges against you from the beginning.
I mean,
that's the irony. You were charged. One of your charges before the tribunal was going on the show for attention and needing to be seen. And this constant yapping is showing that you went on the show for attention and your need to be seen, which is why I would say, if I was counsel, you know, counsel, you could say, if I were you, I would tell you to shut the hell up. However, you can keep going if you so choose.
All right. Well, Coach O, if anything happens, if we have another Liler situation or nothing like that, we just gonna let it be. Hey, you just suck it up. You take the situation because that's what it's gonna be.
Don't post no socials. Don't come on Instagram. Don't be talking. I don't care if you got hurt. I don't care if you were done dirty. Don't come and talk because it looks like you're
talk. You just sit and watch.
9 years later.
The very first thing about the reason why I'm saying that is because when you get done dirty, right, and you feel like you've been done dirty, this for him is an opportunity now to say, if you're gonna hold me accountable for certain things, like dragging someone to the altar, right, and I dragged her to the altar, and we've got KB doing the exact same thing. What he's highlighting is then we should have the same amount of smoke. If we're not having the same amount of smoke, then I'm getting done dirty because I'm being held to a standard and account to this level, which doesn't need to be, which you're not holding everybody to account. And again, so then this also opens up the conversation for a lot of men, which is that as soon as we do speak up, you did a very interesting thing. Why is he yapping? Immediately when we do, what happens is when men start speaking about what they go through, we immediately say they shouldn't talk. And then that means they diminish their voice and we can't say anything. And that then further exasperates the whole point of why I say to you that Love is Blind, I'm happy that they're showing that you guys are just as problematic as us as well. It's good to see that we're both on the same side and we're problematic on each side.
It's a man thing. If anybody was on
it is a man thing because you just said yapping.
Yapping is a term I use for people who are talking too much. But it's not about men.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying the fact is that this particular situation, right? He's highlighting that it is a man and woman thing. You just said it yourself. You actually highlight
that he wasn't done
you
dirty.
Highlighted it. No, you highlight. You said once people have made up the decision and made up their mind, right? Which is specifically a gender specific idea. The men haven't made up their mind about him. We're not involved in this situation.
It is a woman that made a mind about him. Actually, a lot of men with two eyes have made up their mind about Clay.
Those men are a particular way. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Men have made up their mind about Clay.
Those men are a particular way.
99% of the viewers are women
who are not here today have made up their mind about Clay. People who
we gotta get out of Seaway. We gotta get.
I'm being objective here.
No, you're not.
Tell you I'm being
we have to get out of this echo chamber because we know
not
that
an
out
echo chamber. And I'm saying I'm being objective because I actually don't think 80 is a victim.
We're not saying that. We weren't saying that. Majority of the viewers of all of these reality shows are women, and so we know how they're going to operate. We know if there's a guy that does something that is they're gonna slander his name. They're gonna get all upset. They're gonna put some bad remarks. It happens every time, every single time.
You know what? You know why I'm wrong? Because you guys caping for Clay. Actually, we should
I'm
just
not
end the conversation.
Clay. I just want,
We can move on. It's my bad. I should have brought it up because
not
the
about
Cape
Clay.
one for Clay is actually insane. So
But
I'm
it's
gonna
not
leave
about
it
Clay.
alone. I'm gonna
Not
leave
about
it alone
Clay.
because we done took this all the way around. And my point is actually it's not just about Clay. There's sometimes you're doing more harm than good. It's actually just the moral to the story. It's not about men. It's not about being yapping. It's about the fact that sometimes when you're running your mouth to this degree, you're just digging a hole and you think you're digging yourself out. You're just digging a hole. That's really my point.
I get what you're saying,
I think he did a great job. He said it for what it was. That's why I did. That's the reason why I did the video because I remember at the time what actually happened. Right at the time when it happened, he got lambasted for taking her to the point. I remember doing it because we were all doing it, right? So I remember the responses at the time.
Okay, Else didn't do it.
Else said you are not the majority. You're telling me you're not the majority. So
I'm saying the lion's share.
We're not about you.
And I didn't let about them people out there. I really could care less about him taking her to the altar.
Yeah, but we're not. But yeah, you might not care. But again, we're talking about the majority of people that were commentating on this outside of a sphere. Because again, a lot of stuff that we talk about is even our sphere is very unique to what actually happens out there. You know what I mean? The takes that we have are very unique. You have unique perspective. El Cid, Dahlia, Easton, myself. It's very unique. When you go out there, it's not as unique, baby. Okay, it is a dumpster fire out there, babe. Okay, all right. They ain't nuanced. Okay, but I'm saying that out there, what some of the things that were being said about him, that's why he feels the way he does. It's like he's getting hard done by. And the reason why, again, this is why I say it's important that men speak up, because he's not the only one that will feel this way. A lot of men in general, again, we apply it also generally to in the sense of like, this is what happens to us a lot of times, that as soon as we do start speaking about our situation, how we've been done dirty, we get told you're yapping, you're sassy, you talk too much, you're opening your mouth, and these things happen. Yes, El said these things happen. It actually happens to us a lot of times. So if you talk to any men, that's why I said sometimes when we have men watching, they don't talk. Because sometimes the way that the show gets purported and when we speak about men, that's why I'm so glad that they're showing the problematic side on both people. Because now we can see that everybody's mad. It's not just men that are mad, that everybody's mad.
This was a very good show to show that women are mad. I mean, this particular season showed how crazy the women could be, and I love that. I was just speaking from my own perspective, not about who has a penis or a vagina. I was thinking, for example, I'm going to just say, for example, I had opinions. Now, I'm not going to say it's as bad as Clay because I wasn't personally attacked. I think I was a little bit. I found and I stopped talking because I found that Shelly on Paradise, what is it?
Love Island.
Love Island was very problematic.
They got you too, Z-Ray?
Yeah, they got me. But because so many black women, in particular dark-skinned black women, saw themselves through Shelly, saw themselves through Alandria, if I dared to like Huda, I was being attacked. And what I learned was I was never going, and then the irony, similar to the Clay situation, then people found that Shelly was problematic and they turned on Shelly and now they're only with Alandria. And I could have got on my platform and did the I told you so's, but it just wouldn't matter because people who had made up their mind. I could have got on there. Y'all was saying that anybody who didn't like Shelly was anti-black. Y'all was saying anybody who didn't like Shelly was colorist. I mean, all the things that they were saying. And I really wanted to get on there and act like Clay. And point out the hypocrisies and point out the issues. But it was no point. It was no point. And the same thing, the people who find AD to be a victim, it doesn't matter what Clay says. It doesn't. It literally doesn't. And I was with him for his expression to a point. All I'm saying is now I feel like, Clay, you think you're getting somewhere, you're not getting somewhere. But that's why I said, look, if I was his counsel, I would advise him to shut the hell up, not for my sake, but for his sake. But if this is what he wants to get off his chest every 2 to 5 business days, fine. I take it back.
I was just piping up about y'all bringing Tyler into the whole situation.
That didn't have nothing to do with nothing, and I don't know where
at all.
And so I moved on because that had nothing to do with nothing.
Okay, to offer my little unique perspective, the reason why I said that he should shut up, it actually has nothing to do with what Seaway was talking about, but because I'm a Kojo, but I study human psychology too. I'm gonna put my little PR cap on, and PR people always say, baby, it's a 24-hour news cycle. If you just lay low, they will forget about you. But every season he pipes up again and he reminds the people why they hate him. If he would just be quiet, no one will remember him. He had every right to go say his piece about how he was treated, but that was many moons ago. Okay? It's 2025 now. That time is over, honey. We don't want to hear from you. We would have forgotten about you. I can't even tell you the people from Minneapolis. I don't even remember their names. I give descriptions when I'm talking about them. I rely on Elsa to tell me their names. You looking like that, Elsa, because you have the memory of an elephant.
But Dolly,
Okay?
you just hit on my point. You're hitting on my point. If he really wanted this to go away and to be, freed of this, he will be quiet. But he doesn't, because he wants the attention. Even if the attention comes with negativity, which is one of the things that he was originally charged with, which makes it really full circle. People said you went on the show, told the producers you didn't want to be married, you were never going to be married, and you went on the show anyway. People charge him with wanting to do things for attention. He said, oh, I was confused, I was pressured, whatever. Now, for how many seasons later, every time something comes up, you're putting yourself in the middle of the conversation. That screams somebody who wants attention, not somebody who wants to be vindicated.
I get what you're saying, but also I think it's a top-down issue, because not only was it just the fans, it's the people who reported on the whole situation. Like, what was it? We heard when the whole Liler situation going on that a story time with Ricky and Jesse Wu covered up that that AD came on for the shits and giggles of the whole thing. She came on and she had like a sugar daddy in the background, and they on purpose kept that story from hitting the mainstream because they were just doing so out of the love of the game for Black women. I get what everybody's saying, but I think that the rules are different for one group than it is for another group. And
no, it's
I think,
not.
yes, it is.
And I'll give you a great example of this. I'll give you a great example. Angelina Jolie. That woman has adopted 3 children. She's a whole ambassador, and people stay on her neck about her possibly helping Brad Pitt cheat. That was like 15 years ago, and people will never forget about that. So to sit up here and act as though it just happens to men is not true. The reason why it feels like it's heavy on you guys is because, to your point, Love is Blind is specifically catered towards women. But the women be getting that heat too. And Elsa gave you plenty of examples in the chat. Irina is another one. That Russian girl, she was getting heat. They hated her.
Do you not know how the depth? Do you not know how the depths that these people have to go to get any kind of smoke? How mean Irina was to Zach? How bad Zainab was to Cole? Like the depths in the levels of vitriol and anger.
They were abusive.
They were abusive. But all Clay did was, I say I'm gonna cheat. My daddy cheat. I watched him cheat. He took me to the trips to cheat. I don't think I can bury you. I'm an infidelist. I can't do this. And that's all he did was take it to the. He took it to the.
That's where it is. All Clay did. You're just massaging over. All Clay did. You're sounding like the boy mama that Dahlia was talking about earlier. All he did was just say this.
I'm saying that we have clear and for the women to actually be like, I'm gonna hold her accountable. It has to be something borderline abusive, and even then, we'll find a reason to be like, he deserved it. Tim and Alex.
That's crazy because Ashley gets more smoke than Tyler does to this day.
Only because she called all the fans idiots and dodo birds.
And she only got that because she turned on the kids and the women turned on her. That's got nothing to do with men. That's the reason why she got that smoke. Because if she hadn't done that, they would have turned on that nasty. It would have still been lined. Once you turn on kids, you gotta go.
They at her neck to this day, to this very day. As of right now, they still ain't gave her not a lick of peace. I think Ashley may be the most hated person in Love is Blind, to be honest. She's up there. She's number 1. I don't even think Liler is up that high.
She's still my
and the only reason why is she kicked the hornet's nest. If she never went, if she would have acted like she listened to everybody and didn't act like she knew everything, they would have been fine with it. But it's like that the entire franchise. You basically gotta be borderline abusive for the woman to flip on you. What was it? Nick and O, or was it Madison, the girl with the back?
I think we're circling the drain. It's okay.
It is what it is. Look, according to y'all, we just gonna be quiet. If something happens that's unfortunate to any of the contestants, we just gonna be like, it is what it is. Starting to the game.
Who is we? I said we were talking about that for all the contestants, men or women, who did something that is best that they just lay low and let the smoke clear. If they want the smoke to clear. If you don't want the smoke to clear and you just want your name always around and you know, I mean, fine. I mean, that's what Marshall and his ex-wife, ex-fiance do. They both do the same thing as well. Marshall and Jackie. Every single time they could be forgotten, they put their names in some mess. Somebody says something, Marshall says something, Jackie says something. They another two who want to be in the mix all the time.
Look, it is what it is. We're just gonna charge it to the game. All right, we can stop circling the drain.
I'm done because Easton is not, you know, in a mood to listen, understand, and be convinced. So
y'all yapping.
No matter how much
y'all yapping. That's what Easton, y'all yapping.
Easton, please don't make me yap and really come at you.
I'm sorry, LC. I don't want that dismissiveness.
I have given you ample example through every single season of Love is Blind about the women that got vitriol, even those who were not abusive to the man.
Give me one.
Jessica, I told you from season 1, Jessica. Okay,
Jessica wasn't abusive to that boy. All right, I'm done. Here, let me log off, because if a dude would have done what Jessica did to old dude, he would have for sure been abusive. Y'all said Tim was, and he was just talking to Alex about eating food. What are you talking about?
What did people get at Alex for?
For calling Tim outside of his name, right? Formerly mushing him, talking to him like a savage.
Right. Which would have been underneath the
right.
So you notice here that women are only getting smoked when they are abusive.
But they were more getting at her for what? What was the number one thing they got at Alex for? It wasn't even coming at.
It was a room being dirty.
Exactly, it was the trash.
No, that was.
I didn't come out for that. I don't give a heck about it.
Was again, Kojo. You're talking about it's not here. No, the
men were talking about what ones I saw anyway were talking about the fact that it would have been a double standard if she mushed someone in the head or touched someone like that. It would have been abusive. That was a massive comment I saw.
And everybody was.
It wasn't about her dirty ass room. The dirty ass room, they definitely cussed her for that, definitely. But that's a cussing that's normal. Everyone cusses for something, your hair or your clothes or whatever. We're talking about actually getting smoked for actual behaviors. The behaviors of the fact that she was mush someone in the head. It's abusive.
And then come to find out he was actually being closeted.
He was abusive.
And then making his mama drive 10 billion miles across the country. Oh my God.
What?
Yeah, he was abusive. I can't lie to you. And he deserved more smoke. Huh? Yeah. He deserved more smoke because he was nasty work. I can't lie to you. Tim was nasty work. I can't lie to you.
Wow. Okay. That's
why Alex said, y'all don't know what I've been through, so I'm gonna be quiet and let you forget me. That's what she should be doing.
Well, she's done a smart job.
And now she just looks fantastic on TikTok.
Correct.
Super pretty.
She smart.
Yeah.
She's a smart job for her situation.
She done moved on. Definitely. She's a pretty girl. That's how you handle it. She's like, I'm too pretty for this drama.
It is what it is.
She got her smoke and got out. That's how
you do it. You gotta move on when the block is hot.
Because look at Jeremy was even in Clay season. Do we hear from him? No,
because his block was hot with him too, with his line, and we ain't heard from him either. That's what you do when you're trying to start over. He did too much, and he got.
No, but his smoke was a lot of these people's smoke was justified. That's the whole point. The whole point is if it's justified and no one else, for instance, let me give you an example. If Jeremy does what he does and a woman does what he does, and the woman doesn't get the smoke, but Jeremy gets all the smoke, and if Jeremy comes out and says, "Why didn't you give her the smoke the way you gave me the smoke?" then it would have been understandable why he came out and said what he said. That's the whole point about the Clay situation. It's not that he got smoke. He listen. If he gets smoke, it's called in it. No problem. I don't think he should not get the smoke. I think he still deserves some smoke from his season. You get me? But if you're gonna hold me accountable for what I did in my season, and then the energy's not the same for somebody doing the exact same thing, yeah, I'm gonna come out and say something. I'm gonna say something too. I don't care. I'm gonna say something.
The distinction, and this is why I brought it up. I think the distinction here is that people do not believe that KB came on this show just for clout. I think they think she stayed on the show maybe beyond the point that she knew that things weren't working out. People believe that Clay came on the show for clout because he told the producers he had no interest in being married. There has been nobody that I know, that I personally know, who came on the show with no intentions of anything serious that did not get dragged.
No, there's like lots of people. There's lots of people who are on the show that said that they weren't capable or.
And those men, whoever came on the show with side girlfriends or were unserious, got talked about.
There's
what
also,
do you know?
Patrick got dragged.
AD, she had the whole sugar daddy thing that story time with Ricky and them didn't even say
daddy or not, she wanted to get married. She was willing to marry him. I'm not speaking on AD and her freaking sugar daddy. I really whatever. But the point is that she wanted to get married. People feel like Clay came on the show. I'm just talking about what people say because again, I don't care. But people are saying that Clay came on wasting everyone's time. And then they feel like to get out of that jam, he start naming random things like I can't get married because my daddy was a cheater. I don't know. The stuff didn't even make any sense.
Basically, he didn't like the girl the way he okay. Yeah, sorry, Elsie, go for it. Sorry.
I'm going to use Edmund's words, okay? Since, you're...
Sorry.
Say something nice, Easton. Say something nice. Come on now. You could do it. Say something nice.
I ain't got nothing nice to say.
You've been doing backhands. You've been doing backhands all night. Say something nice.
What? I felt like I held the guys accountable. I held Anton accountable.
Say something nice about the ladies, Easton. The ladies.
I like KB's baby hairs, how close they touch to her eyebrows. They real nice.
Funny.
I like
good night, Easton.
I like
good
that.
Night.
I like that.
Good night.
With my, if I'm gonna be a food dude, that's what I'm gonna be the food dude. That's what you get me for.
Hey, listen, Calera is a baddie. I told you this from the beginning of the jump of the season. I told you she's a baddie. I saw it. Patty. I told y'all from the jump. That's why I don't believe a second that she was trying to like Edmund. I'm sorry. Okay.
See, there's a lot of baddies fell down the slope.
There's a lot of baddies that are touched.
Fell down the slope. What's the slope, Elsie?
That told everybody he ain't got nothing nice to say. Okay, I was throwing him a lifeline. He got nothing nice.
Tell me something that Calabria did. Tell me something that Calabria did.
No, Easton. This is not my test. This is your test. Okay, this is not my test. But again, you can't say anything nice about her other than the baby hairs that's plucked from her wig.
What did she do that was noteworthy?
Yeah.
All she did was argue with Elsie. What did she do that was noteworthy? Tell me.
What about she was very patient?
She was faking it. If I'm faking being patient with somebody, I'm over here lying.
You call me a B word. They ain't nothing from your patience.
Nothing patient. I told y'all from week one that she was gonna crash out. And what y'all do? Everybody was like, "What was it?" Sean was like, "Well, he's tough, and he I'm gonna judge him like a man." Well, I'm unpacking and unlearning some things.
Why you
I'm unpacking and learning some things. The patriarchy is our enemy, and what we need to do is dismantle it. And so, what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna start there. That's where I'm starting.
How are you dismantling it?
In the ground today. That's
You're not dismantling it.
You have upheld the patriarchy this entire life.
Yes. Look, you've been putting more bricks on the patriarchal wall.
No, I was breaking it down one by one because the patriarchy also upholds some of the standards that us men uphold, and some of the women, some of the behaviors that y'all uphold. So we got to break that down. We got to call it fair because the patriarchy isn't fair. Again, it's all about the haves and the have-nots. So we got to unbreak.
You really want to be fair? Say something nice about the women along with the men.
Yes,
we can easily do that for Edmund. We did it for Tyler. We did it for Clay.
We basically call Edmund a coercive. Basically from the get-go, and it took y'all to find out that he was a little bit touched.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is deflection right there.
But notice how me and Elsie were also the main ones telling people this man is smart. He has a master's degree. He's able to hold down a job. He's making good money. Those are nice things to say. He has a nice body. He's handsome. See how I was able to rattle that off so easily, and I can do the same thing for Tyler.
It ain't in him, Dahlia. It ain't in him.
So we can do it for him. Why can't you do it for the women?
What have we got to say about Calabria? What can we say? Oh, I said something nice about how.
What can you say?
Not we.
She's a social worker. She's good. She seems like I bet she's good at her job. How she handled Edmund, I'm sure she's good at her job. Okay, There we go. I just felt like everybody was a mess. Can we? I feel like everybody was a mess.
People in the chat don't be liking you, Easton. This is
I need
why.
to go touch some grass.
No, it's because I'm not pandering today.
It's not about pandering. And the fact that you think that it is pandering
Right.
is a problem. It's not pandering. It's
No.
not pandering for you to just be able to see it for what it is and just be fair. It doesn't have to be pandering.
So if she's leading him on, what nice things can I say? Because even in her nicety, she's probably doing something that has some a negative or some sleight of hand activity. No, what do you?
Easton, here's how you dismantle the patriarchy and the answer in this. Everything you say is in relation to him. We're talking about her as a person independent of him. Okay? You can't say something nice independent of him.
Oh,
how about that?
That could be fair. I just try to gauge these people in relation to the show, which means that they're in a relationship. That's how I like look at everybody. You don't look at them as just a simple individual, no, because they're gonna act obviously differently. We're not looking at how they do behind the scenes. We're giving critiques about how they operate in a relationship.
Well, I think this was a really good exercise, and Easton, perhaps you take from this conversation that you also look at the positives. Maybe you don't feel a lot of positives about Calabria. Maybe you think she fake as hell and you think you should use him as an experiment. I'm not sure. But I will say, all in all, your stick team seems to be men are victims. I need to protect. Let me protect. Women are bad. Let me say something bad, and you don't really say nothing good about it.
Anton was a fool. What are we talking about?
Can I respond to that? Saying that the man does something bad is not saying the woman something nice about the woman. Because you did
do we always have to say something nice?
No, we're saying you never say nothing nice. Not that you always have to say something nice.
I ain't found nothing good to say. If I had something good to say, I would say it, but I haven't found anything.
Question: have you looked?
Yeah,
have you looked?
Yeah, yes.
I don't think you have looked, my brother. But you know what? It ain't my job to help you find it. It ain't.
It isn't. I'm just saying, I think I'm giving fair critiques on the nature of the relationship. I don't think that I'm saying anything overly negative.
Fair.
They all failed. They were all not, none of them got married, correct? So that clearly for the experiment, they failed. They all had isolated issues that caused that failure. Some of them were that they had ulterior motives. Some of them were like personal. Like I think Edmund. I haven't said anything overly nice about Edmund. It's like, oh, we should just give him a pass or anything like that. I haven't said that. I think that all of them were problematic, which is why I said all of them were problematic. It just seems like y'all chose to listen to the negativity and the negative stuff that I said about Calabria. Maybe you were triggered.
We could only listen to what you say. We haven't heard positive. We could only listen to what you say.
Huh?
Wait, don't be funny. Talk about the sisterhood, because when I opened up, I actually left room for the fact that I said either Calabria is a bad person, or for me, she also is struggling with some type of issues that she needs to work through that are maybe not on the same level as Edmund, but she has some issues as well. And so I tried to leave room because I think we're so quick to villainize people. And I'm not just talking about just Calabria. When we realize that just because your issues don't show up the same way, I was looking at their interaction and I also felt like she's clearly struggling with some things as well. Because not everybody is calculated, cold, manipulative. And that even goes for Clay. Let's take it back to Clay. I feel like maybe Clay went on the show playing a little bit, but I actually feel like when he was getting down to the altar, Kojo, stay with me, I think that he did feel real pressure from people around. I actually went back and thought about it. I don't think he just went up there to play in her face. I think he felt some sort of pressure. Now, how severe was that ever going to make him say yes? I don't think so. But I think the pressure from the producers, the families, and everything was real. And so I leave space for that. And I think we have to leave space. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to leave a little room for Calabria in, as I'm doing for Edmund. Because you cannot, to me, be fully, what is it? The opposite of, okay, I don't know how to say it. I don't think you could be fully, have it all with you to choose Edmund and take it this far, especially when Love is Blind is not Love Island, right? Like, you're not guaranteed all these deals and promos and things like that. And so for me, like, if this was Love Island, I get why Nick linked up with Olandria and they're riding out. Like, you're going to get a lot of deals, whatever, that's proven. Love is Blind is not like that anymore. It's getting close to maps. Like, you're not getting a whole lot of like deals from this. So for me, I don't fully understand why she made the decision she did. AD only has a podcast because, I guess to Clay's point, people felt bad for her. People felt bad for her. I mean, Dahlia, why else does she have a podcast? Do we really need to hear from her?
No, we don't.
No, but I think it's a combination of things. I think because that will only take you but so far that people feel bad for you. After a while, people forget and they don't care. We move on to the next person. So I think it's also because she's pretty, and I think that she's okay with people putting a key in her back and just turning her whichever way that they want. So I'm sure that's part of it. And she's a good mouthpiece. I really don't think it's anything more than that. I mean, if she's willing to do Netflix's bidding, then that's the right person for them.
People felt bad for her, and also Lauren didn't have the spot anymore because she wasn't going to be used as the pawn of
token.
Netflix. Yeah, that's what it was.
Neither was Tiffany.
Neither was Tiffany. She was the next up for the sisterhood. Because if we're gonna keep it a buck, Deepti and Natalie got the other side, and we got to have one person for the sisterhood, and that's who's for the sisterhood. AD.
I gotta say,
sisterhood she's a part of, because
she a pick me.
Well, I guess a part of the pick me male identified male centered sisterhood, but I'm not in that one, so. I relate more to Clay than I do AD, so.
Yeah.
And that's sad, actually. Devastating, to be honest.
No, it shouldn't be devastating. We can see ourselves in many people.
I wish y'all watched the other international versions.
The devastating part is more. If I have to relate to a man more than you, that's not good.
What are you trying to say about us, man?
Y'all don't need any more cheerleaders. Y'all don't need any more cheerleaders. Y'all got Easton. That's enough.
Look, I just call it how I see it. I just call it how I see it. I'm sorry. Look, I predicted this many seasons ago. I think that we're just going to continue bad people because the fan base has scared off any good resemblance of a decent guy on the show. And so all you're going to do is continue to trigger the fan base, and they're going to continue to get upset because if there was a chance of a decent guy being on there, he's scared away by the fan base. So it is what it is. That's why I said
it's not the fan base. It's production. They're the ones who are intentionally screwing these guys over
beforehand. Like, that's why I said nobody has these issues until the women are coming across as bad. It wasn't like this in the beginning. Oh, it wasn't this whole ordeal about production. It was now that it's becoming, we're getting season after season of it being like, there's not we haven't had a massive issue from somebody since like Tyler. Now we're starting to see like, okay, it's a little bit more balanced. Some of the stuff. What are we talking about?
Easton, when Kojo started interviewing cast members and we started to see who they were beyond the show, and this is before Tyler, okay? Before Tyler, we peeked behind the curtain and we, at least here, understood we were being curated a narrative and a show.
I get that. I'm 100% with that. But for all the hard work that Kojo does, I think that he deserves a way larger following. But the reason why I think he doesn't get nearly the amount of following is he doesn't necessarily cater to one side or the other, as well as he doesn't necessarily lean into some of the victimization that some sides get that other sides don't. Let's just keep it a spade. People don't. I saw this man get killed during Love Island. I wasn't here for all Love Island, but I was watching, and he was tall. You would have thought he was red pill. All I'm saying is nobody has any issues or calls out production beforehand if there is a big, massive issue with the guy, if you have a Tyler, if you have an SK or anything like that. But now, since it's starting to seem like it's a little bit more even, oh, it's production. They're exploiting everybody. Oh, they forcing these people to go here. And that's all I'm saying. That's what I said at the beginning. And then you wanted to have this smoke with me. No, I'm just calling how I see it.
Ethan, you know what you remind me of?
I don't even care anymore.
You remind
I don't even care anymore, twin.
No,
everybody
anymore.
Not Easton
I am
Fed
what I am, nigga.
Because I'm trying to to be honest, I've been a fan of Kojo before he even invited me on the lives. But to me, he's, for as many videos as he puts out, the content he puts out, the quality, the type of questions he asks, how deep he goes into the psychology of people, he don't get nearly the amount of love that he's supposed to.
You done switch your advocacy.
No, it's now, y'all asked me to say something nice. I got
No. Don't even. Another man.
Another man.
Ladies, we need to leave the romance.
I'm not a lady.
You can see it depending on who the content creators are. When they lean into certain issues with certain people, they get a lot more love, and people
nobody's disagreeing with you, Easton, but what they got to do with the price of tea is China.
This has everything to do with it. I'm saying the same issue Dolly is saying, and everybody, we always were talking about it. No, majority of the fan base was not always talking about production and really getting into the intricacies and stuff like that until it's starting to seem that more and more season, regardless of the franchise location, that you're starting to see that there's like, this is a little bit more, this is a little bit too equal. Too much equality in the trashness. I don't like it. It's production. It's the standards. It's what's going on. And now y'all want to bring it up. No, it's been like this. It's just editing. We seen it with Javan. He said it's the editing. He got lambasted. We're seeing this more and more frequently, and now people have smoke. But I think the smoke is misdirected.
You are wrongly assuming that this is down to women's bias, and that's not the case. I don't know if you watch other reality shows, which by and large are actually specifically catered to women, but they have zero problems giving smoke. If you watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, they had one lady, her son was out here getting death threats. So please spare me this idea that somehow the men are the ones who are getting all of the heat. That's not the case. And on top of that, if we want to talk about production, it actually has changed. And the reason why, and Jesse, we talked about this a lot, is because of all the lawsuits that they had. That's the reason why you see them focus so much more on the food that they're eating, that they have blankets, that they take naps and that sort of thing. They make it a point to show you that because it's different. The way that they were filming the shows, the way that they were handling their cast, it is very different from these last 2 seasons than it was previously. And so that facilitates that they were going to have to change how they actually produce the show as well. That's why it looks different. That's why it sounds different. That's why you're actually getting cast members who have real jobs. We only got one realtor this season. It's going to look different. So it's going to show up differently. And honestly, I think that they probably learned a lot from all of those international franchises too. That's why their editing style is more in line with what they were doing with I think Brazil and France.
Germany
for one. And Germany too. Actually, yeah, you're right, because Germany was the first one to do it. So you're attributing to female bias what is really more so behind the scenes production stuff. And people like us pay attention because we like that sort of thing. But the masses in general, they don't care. They're not paying attention to any of that stuff. You might catch it on a TikTok live, but by and large, they're not noticing that stuff. We're the weirdos who actually like that. So
no, I'm not, that wasn't the point. I'm saying that the issue of production and its deficiencies isn't becoming a mainstay in the conversation until as of late. And it's, to me, it is interesting because the problems are starting to seem a lot more even. That's all I'm saying. I didn't hear all of these issues with production and all with the people and all the stuff when the dudes were trash. No, you're starting to see that maybe the women aren't
They were talking about that. That's okay. That's why when Zaynab and Cole, when they were doing that whole cuties thing, which isn't really, it's an orange. People got mad at production because they were, why did you sit on this? Why didn't you show this during the reunion? Why did you wait until after the fact? They were mad at production then. So it's not just like it's just now happening. People have been on production's ass from the very beginning.
Okay.
Can I also just bring something to Easton's point that maybe contributing to what you're seeing? I think as the seasons go on, in the beginning, you were getting, like in the beginning, there was authentic men and women looking for love for the most part. And I think as the seasons have gone on, the men were started to be less authentic first, and women were trying to look for love, I think, more seriously. I think now what you're seeing as the show gets more popular, I think there is disingenuous, inauthentic people on both sides coming to the show. I think that is my hypothesis of what you're seeing. I think now you have the men are coming for clout and the women are coming for clout. That wasn't how it was before. And I think the disconnect is there was a time where women were still coming on the show to find love and men were coming on the show to play. That's why you had Ayanna, and then even though they got married, the dude was in the club.
Yeah.
Jared was in the club. Whatever Clay was charged with. I'm just saying there was a lot of unserious men where the women, I think, look more like victims because they were really hoping to, find love. But who knows?
But that's on casting too, though, because they chose those men. Matter of fact, they actively recruited those men. But now it's at the point where, to your point, Seaway, they're doing the same thing with the women, or they're cherry picking women from the application pile who look like they could be the influencer type. So they now have a formula that they're sticking with, which is why it looks different, because it is. These people are reality show veterans. They know what they're doing. And so people are upset about it. It's like we still tuning in to watch. So we can't be too upset.
Yeah, like the Asian lady that they picked. They literally picked a lady that they know would go on the run. And then she went on the run. The one that packed up.
Right.
Do you think they did that on purpose? They picked people who have commitment issues, and who would feed into whatever, and they try to have a mix between people with commitment issues and then people who are serious, because that kind of works the dynamic of, the heartbroken versus the person on the run. They did that on purpose. And I think they're realizing that if they also pick women who are problematic and lean into that, and not just problematic men, because I do think at one point they were just picking problematic men, abusive men, which again was leading, like Dahlia said, to lawsuits and things like that. They're like, no, let me just pick problematic people on both sides. Like Annie, I don't think Annie would have been casted on earlier seasons. They did that on purpose. They know what they're doing.
So I think this actually is quite interesting, because if I remember correctly, Easton made a point last year around this Tyler situation when he said we should not be looking at the men on the show as a census of what men are like. Because when we were attacking Lila, we were saying this is what men do. Not saying our panel per se, but I'm talking about general consensus, right? We're saying this is what men do. And actually, one of the points he actually made was this is the production intentionally choosing trash men and putting them on the show. He actually made that point. I remember that point, precisely that point. And we're now coming around and saying that's the point we're making now, which means he was right in the beginning. I'm just going to be honest with you.
I don't be right at the moment, but I be right.
He made that point last year. I promise you. He made that point last year.
I promise you, I be saying this stuff.
There was a little bit of pushback at the time. There was a little bit of pushback because we were trying to nail Tyler as men do this. And men do that. Don't get twisted. Men do what Tyler do. But he made the exact point, which was, whilst we're coming at Tyler and men like him, he said about SK and them, he said specifically, this is production intentionally choosing these type of men instead of choosing sensible men for these people. So he made that point last year. He made a point. I remember that point precisely.
And we argued all night long about how I don't listen and stuff like that. And then it comes full circle. And so now my prognostic, like how I'm thinking now, is the reason why there's smoke now is because the women are getting showcased. Again, I was right then, but I wasn't right at that moment. My suggestion or my thought right now is the only reason why there's smoke for production in the process is because the women are coming across for a couple of seasons that they aren't looking good. But again, I'll be wrong in the moment. That's
the part that Dahlia and I and everyone is pushing back on. People have been talking about production from the beginning.
They have, not in the mass that they are now.
I don't know why Kojo fed you that bone. So this really a red herring as you being right about one minuscule thing that no one really debated you on.
He likes
We
carnage.
actually did debate him on that. We did. Yes,
You
there
stayed-
was actually pushback.
Anyway, I remember that night. You and Sean
Push back on that day.
What did I say? What's wrong about that statement?
No, see, you and Sean argue with me
even
behind
now.
closed doors. The whole till like
I backed
2,
you
3
up,
a.m.
Ethan. Lest me forget. I backed you up.
So I said,
No, I get it, but see,
like Tyler.
to everybody, it seems like I'm wrong, and I'm cool with taking that, but I know I'm right, and it's the same thing with this. Right now, everybody is up in arms, and even you see people have said production, but this is a full-on campaign about production. I see what Kodo is doing, but a full-on campaign about production and the people that they're bringing on and stuff like that. And I agree, they are wrong, but I think that it's very interesting that now we have all of this smoke because we've had season after season where the women there hasn't been a major male incident. We haven't had a major male incident since Tyler. Also, the women are coming across a little worse. That's all I'm saying. So we'll see. But I think that's my suggestion or my thought going into 2026, 2027. I'll be right.
Oh my gosh.
That was not our issue with you.
Don't let Kojo inflate your head so much it explodes, okay, Easton? I'm sorry.
Y'all told me KB wasn't gonna crash out. Y'all told me
he didn't save you early. Okay? He did not save you earlier. But what he is going to do is throw a little bit of food in the shark-infested waters to amp you up again because you had calmed down.
That's all this is.
Y'all want me to say something nice about these people, and all of them are trash.
Because Sean is not up here to help push back.
No, Sean will be saying we need to unpack and unlearn and dismantle and recreate and reconstruct. And we don't need that.
Oh my God,
Sean's not up here, so
y'all want me to say something nice? I think that KB had her hair was always laid to the gods.
You're being funny and anti-black, Easton, and you think we ain't clocking what you're saying. You keep talking about her edges.
I like how they look.
Easton, I'm being nice. I'm being nice not to roast.
I know you are, LC. I appreciate it because I did throw some jabs and you just pawed them off. I'm just saying
I am 2 steps from snatching you, but guess what? It's after midnight. Okay, it's the next day. I'm trying to be nice at the beginning of the next day.
Look, we can end this, but I'm just saying I might not be right in the moment, but at the end of the season, the same way y'all told me KB was justified, I said she's gonna crash out. What happened? I said this way before. I said she gonna crash out
for Easton, bro.
I said y'all gonna get it. I said it. I tell you what. I said he gonna get a mark. I said no. I said she. I said
the same thing about Married at First Sight as well.
I said the same thing about Married at First Sight. I said. I said. And y'all don't believe me. I know they might say
I didn't. I'm not saying I don't believe it. I find it quite interesting. You remember all of Easton's philosophies, but not mine. But I'll leave that there.
I'm just saying. We give you your flowers in the immediate moment, but we don't give it to you.
I'll leave it that day. But you know what? You remember his flowers from last year. But
I do.
We stayed up till like 3 a.m. talking about it.
We made some similar points at Lay. You know what I mean? So I remember my own point, which was similar to his at the time. You know,
y'all told,
it's not abnormal to remember that.
I told y'all Edmund was going to get a martial edit.
Class in the kitchen sink theory. You guys are just throwing a whole bunch of nonsense out there, distracting the jury, and now we're all confused. So okay,
I'm not confused. I remember when we were really talking about you were biased against the women. That's what we were talking about.
Dahlia, at this point, this is so chaotic. We're all responding to different points.
I don't think I'm being biased. If I say that.
We've got like 7 minutes left, so
we only got 7 minutes left. So if I say that Anton is trash, that's not me. I said he trash the same way as everybody was upset at me talking about.
He insulted everybody.
I give smoke to everybody. Anton, you trash. Oh, I can't say. Oh, if I say KB trash, oh, you being misogynistic. You being reputable. No,
he didn't say anything nice about Anton. He didn't say nothing nice about Anton. What you say about nice about Anton?
Nothing.
What do you like about Allie? What do you like about Allie?
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
I ain't saying nothing good about nobody.
Y'all just be shooting him unnecessarily because he didn't like anybody.
I got smoke for everybody.
Oh, now it's unnecessary. Okay. Okay.
I
Now it's
mean,
unnecessary.
he didn't say anything nice about anybody. Again, this is like the Clay situation I'm talking about. You know, you guys, you're not equalizing the smoke here. He didn't say anything about anybody.
You know what,
You don't
Kojo,
like any of them.
what he does though, what he does, and I know you already know what he does because this is what you do on a daily basis. He may not say nothing nice about anybody, but for the men, he finds a way to pacify, deflect, walk around, excuse, come up with different ideas and concepts for their behavior. But for the women, no.
Sorry,
Listen,
Edmund.
I would say that in the past he would have done that. I agree, but on this particular season, and Married at First Sight,
I've been working on it. I've been working on it because y'all told me.
He there was nothing nice he said about Anton.
Y'all was so mad at me for talking about
He
Alan.
is hyper focused on KB. He ain't got nothing.
So when I was
else to say.
no, he insulted Anton. He said he had no pay pig management. Is that nice? Was that nice? That's very insulting.
Does that meet the level of vitriol for KB? Does that meet the level? I mean, come on now. Come on, gentlemen.
Wait.
You're right, Kojo. He didn't. He didn't. Because the Anton's not who he chose to victimize. If you haven't figured this out about Easton, he chooses a man to victimize, to be a victim in his eyes every season. So this season, it's not Anton, it's Edmund. Edmund is the victim.
I think Edmund was a victim. I've already told you, I agreed with him. I told you this. We had this conversation last time. I think Edmund was a victim. I think
Edmund is a victim, but I'm saying just in
dragged him to the altar.
He is a victim in many ways, but what I'm saying is that Easton just picks a random man each season.
Sean even told I insulted Alan on Mavs too. So okay, so y'all ain't had no issue about me being mean to Alan, saying that he was.
We did have an issue actually. We told you to stop that.
I know y'all did, but I'm. Oh, it's only the guys. I mean, it's only the girls that got smoked for it.
And they said always, which is the wrong word because
right.
You had smoke for Alan because you attributed female traits to him. That's still the same thing.
No, he spent $3,000 on a girl who didn't like him.
You attributed
that being simpish behaviors. I agree. I agree. Anton was the exact same way. Same way. We've been saying you can change the word for simp and take another word and put another word. I said the exact same thing about Anton. If you are willing to pedestalize a woman and to try and get her, yes, we are going to call you out. It is not a behavior that a man should be doing, and that's why he landed with someone like Alini who didn't even like him. We had this argument from the beginning. She didn't like him. KB didn't like Edmund. This is the truth. Unfortunately, and I'm not even mad at the ladies for doing this. The truth is that they didn't like these men. And the men that were trying to force it, Edmund was trying to force it. That's why I said he had to learn. He has to learn because you ended up at the end crying like you did, like you Chewbacca. And now the situation is actually you.
That's still a male-centered issue. Do you guys hear yourself? The issues that you have with men is that they are simping for women, which is still a male-centered issue. I think what we would like to see from Easton is him having an issue with a man for actually treating a woman poorly, not being a simp, tricking, whatever, blasey, skippy. The issues are still male-centered, male-focused. I'm not talking about you, Kojo. I'm saying Easton has an issue with men who are simping, tricking, weak. That is his issue with these men. That is the line.
So now we got a problem with how they got to be, how they showcase themselves. Okay.
But you know what? That's true. Because the reason why you're after Anton is because of Alini. You were very clear that that she is a sugar baby, that she wants this man for his money. You said that from the beginning, and you were on Anton because you thought that he was a simp, and you thought that that Alini was a certain type of woman, and so you were on her head top about that, which is okay. So it's a consistent pattern. It's nothing to do with Anton personally, and everything to do with how you feel about Alini.
But do y'all agree with Anton's behaviors? What else was he meant to say? I
don't agree with none of Anton's behavior. So I don't have a problem with that issue. I'm saying people wanted to see Easton actually have an issue with a man for doing something harmful to a woman, for not being good to a woman. For not being.
Which one this season was harmful?
What?
Which man was harmful this season?
I don't think there was a harmful man.
No, stay on the point.
I do think there was men that did harmful things, like Edmund. Can I explain? Like Edmund having his outbursts, making KB so uncomfortable that she slept on the balcony. That would be an example.
No, she slept on the balcony because she wanted to, but I agree with you. He did make her accountable.
But it's not a good situation that any person, let alone a human, let alone a woman, feels like she needs to sleep on the balcony. That is a sign of being deeply uncomfortable, and production should have stepped in. And honestly, she shouldn't have never felt like she needed to sleep on the
We
balcony.
didn't know about this until her interview with AD.
But you know about it now, and that is something that could have been mentioned. And that I'm just giving an example. I'm giving an example of behavior that would be harmful to a woman that you can say, you know what? I don't like this man for doing that. And
sorry for the week that I wasn't here. I probably would have brought it up.
Deflection. This is like pure deflection.
I wasn't there that week. That was the one week that I wasn't.
Well, you're here now. We're talking about a whole summary of it.
Edmund should have never said anything or done anything to make or escalated a situation to ever make KB feel like she needed to sleep outside. If anything, Edmund should have slept outside, or he should have slept in another room. He was problematic for that.
Okay, thank you. That would be an example of you saying that without me actually, asking you to say it. But yes, that would be an example.
We come to these panels to give our critiques for the episodes normally that we talk about. I wasn't there for that episode, and to be fair, this isn't pertinent information that was part of the episode. We didn't know this stuff until the interview with AD. And so if let's just say I didn't watch the interview with AD, I wouldn't even know what was going on about that. You holding me to a whole...
I would say it's relevant because we were talking about the reasons why she said no at the altar. We were talking about what led to her saying no, if she was ever going to say yes to him, leading him on, things like that. And so that's why I said all of the things that led up to perhaps her no, her yes, I think could have came up. I'm not saying you had to bring them up. I'm just saying that is something that will be relevant.
Okay. Is there anything else that the guy did that was like, can you give me another example or two?
I mean, you could say that Joe slept with Madison knowing good and well he didn't want nothing to do with her. I mean, that's another example.
Did I not say that he did not like her and find her attractive? I've been said that. I said he did not like her.
I'm just answering your question. I think you did say that, but I'm just saying in general, that's another man.
Okay. Y'all pick and choose what y'all want to hear. It's okay. I live with it. But
you can't win. I told you can't win. It's the thing of the claim.
Kodo, you told me never to argue.
How did he win? How did he win? He asked me a question. I gave another example. I never said he didn't say anything about Joe. I'm talking about he has picked Edmund to be his victim of the season. Why is Elson sleeping? I can't take it.
Okay, I get what we're saying with Edmund, but let's be real. That man is... that interview he had, he couldn't go 5 seconds without telling you he's from West Virginia. That man got something. I don't know what it is.
And that's why it's very irresponsible of her to have chosen him, and actually, very manipulative of her to choose somebody who, in this particular space, seems to be mentally he's challenged a little bit. He might not think it, but we hear it.
That's why I said from the get-go. I said, why are we? That's why I said,
be mentally challenged. She could be as well. We don't know.
We don't know, but what we can see is that we don't see her as being mentally challenged. So I'm not even going to offer that.
I don't know what I see.
Because then that would be giving her grace, which is which in this instance I don't think she needs to be given grace in that point. I think she dragged that man to the altar, and I don't think she's even that made of a villain. I didn't even make her that much of a villain this season. I said I don't think she's that much of a villain, but I do feel like she didn't need to drag him to the altar. But hey, listen, we understand people are here for clout. People want to get they manipulate for clout. I just think we need to be able to smoke everybody a little bit. I mean, I think Easton gives man them.
You need to say an extra prayer for the chaos that you called today. You gassing up Easton and all this foolishness, and you doing this because Sean ain't on this panel. So I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope
she'll come back because I can get him a heater too. Daddy Deacon Davis, delectable delicacies. Where is he so we can tease him? See, we need Papa back because when twin start arguing, we need Papa back. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's not good. I'm the uncle. I ain't do very well.
Twin one don't like to listen. I be giving smoke to everybody. I be saying y'all trash.
Now,
you only to all the women trash. Huh?
I know I'm not the one who don't listen. I be hearing what you be saying.
No, you don't. I be telling you, they all trash. No, why is this? Why are you talking about the women? No, Anton just as much trash as Allie.
You want to know what Dahlia think? Dahlia is over it. Elsa is over it. I'm over it.
Because we brought good points, and also with Kojo's phenomenal memory, he brought back my argument that I had with you and Sean till like 4 a.m. And sometimes I'll be like, nobody's ever gonna remember that, but I know Kojo gonna remember it because I said,
And poor Dolly is trying to have a good faith argument with Kojo and Easton, and they're not having good faith arguments. So that's
we are.
I have given up on this. They're the good faith.
Are you done? Are you done?
That's what I felt 5 minutes ago.
We going to bed, niggas.
This is a great show.
Go to bed. I think that ended on a good high note. Well done to the twins for always giving us a great show. Without you two, you know, I think me and Dahlia and Elsie will have normal, sensible conversation. But with you and the twins on the show, we definitely going to always have a much more exciting, much more entertaining show. And so I can't afford to lose you two. So please keep coming back. I appreciate you two because you're always on game. We just need Papa back. We need Daddy Deacon Davis back on here to complete the set, to really go at it, so I can get El Cid to, you know, lose her marbles a little bit with him as well. And, you know, for me and Dahlia to look like the sensible persons on this particular show, okay? Because you know me, I like to look like a good guy, even though I'm Carnage. But listen, audience, it's been an amazing conversation. By Wednesday, we'll be back with the reunion. And I promise you, we're going to bring back Twin and Twin together because, you know, them two, they're going to create a madness as always. El Diablo, don't worry. You listen, I'm bringing Sean back for you. I see your face. Your face looked like he was...
No, you said we're coming back for the reunion. I'm watching the reunion live.
Oh, sorry. Well, I'm doing it for Thursday. I won't do it on Wednesday. Thursday. Okay. Thursday night, I'll do the live. So I'll give it a day, you know what I mean? So everybody can sit on it and really study it and look at all the clips on that reunion, okay? Because I'm sure there's going to be some different opinions that may go on there, okay? Easter, next time, I want you to consider the fact that, remember, she stepped on the balcony, okay? So don't forget that.
Yeah, don't forget
and
that.
Joe also slept with someone alive, so don't forget that too. You better not. I'm being serious. The ladies are on your neck.
Yeah, they on me. They say
I don't want to get shot for you. I'm just saying. I like my head.
They said we was fresh and fit up in here.
Are you done? Are you done?
Diabolical.
The way they carrying on.
Diabolical.
They said y'all Kevin Samuels and fresh and fit. Y'all over here.
You make it so hard to defend you. You know that?
Why do you even try, Dahlia?
So terrible. I'm gonna leave him for Seaway. When Seaway gets him, it's nothing to do with me. Anyway, listen, audience, I gotta go. Okay, I don't cause carnage, and they're gonna get me behind the scenes. So, listen, I appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Make sure you like, you share, you subscribe, and you hype up the show as well. Make sure you guys are following. Oh wait, you know, Seaway, you're doing some great stuff over there on TikTok as well. Let them know they can find you as well, please, as well. You know,
it's Seaway's World Esquire on TikTok and on YouTube. Please find me over there and on Instagram. I'm everywhere. I appreciate the folks that have already come over to support.
Come on now. When's your next game, Seaway?
The season's over, so I'm just chilling.
Oh, flip. Yeah, you know, you tell I don't follow because I don't even know that.
Yeah, it's over.
Man. Okay. El Cid.
Elcid 932 on YouTube, as well as TikTok and Instagram. I will be watching Love is Blind reunion live on my channel. Tomorrow we're covering, since it's Halloween week, we're covering like horror movies, Freddy versus Jason. And I do all the other stuff. And Love is Blind Italy, I just found out today, starts December 1st. But Maths, Love is Blind, all of that comes through. And I'm going to cover All's Fair, the Woman's Attorney series that's coming up on Hulu, for those who didn't cut the cord on Hulu yet.
I don't know how you do it. I don't know where you find the time, baby. You are a different breed. I love it. She worked hard, and I love to see it. You get me? So more fire to you. You get me? Love is Blind Italy. If there's some black folk, I might see it. But if there ain't no black folk, I might have to leave it alone. Okay?
It's already diabolical. The men are already cheating.
Now, you know what happens in Italy? It's not actually cheating. It's exercising what they call options. I'm sorry, I'm lying. They're cheating. Anyway, guys, we gotta go. Oh wait, darling, do you have anything you want to even if it's not even YouTube, anything we can support, anything you might have, some, you study, so there might be a thesis or something we can join, or a study group. Baby girl, let us know. Can we get involved? You hear me?
Nothing on social media, but I just got a new job, so y'all pray for me that I
What?
can keep it. Please, please.
Congrats.
Keep me in your prayers.
That's when you left for that interview. Okay, you got it. Woo!
Yes.
The
Congratulations.
family. Come on, congratulations, baby. I love to see my family growing. It's just it's lovely.
And this
This is-
economy, you out. You doing good.
Do you know what I mean?
Thank you.
That's what I like to see. Up, up, up and away. We love to see that. Well done, Dahlia. Okay, well, listen, look. Oyster, you got anything?
No, I
Just
love
get
you
on my
all.
nerves.
I love you all. Even if I get on your nerves, I don't hate anybody. It's all love. Also prayers for Jamaica.
Yes.
Yes, perfect Jamaican indeed, yes.
And yeah, stay connected with everybody and tap in with Kojo. He got some good stuff.
Easton, are you Jamaican?
Nah, that's my second home though. They call me Winston down there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They Winston. Pondy Road.
I
I'm
can't
on the
wait for
road.
Easter to start his men's group, boy.
Boy.
Listen, anyway, you're going to start up a men's group very soon. I'm going to push you to get into a men's group. All right, listen, audience, I appreciate you guys. And ladies, thank you so much for joining the show. If you thought it was carnage, leave a comment down below as well. Please go and support the ladies as well in their ventures with El Cid and Seaway. They're doing great things on their social media platforms. And myself, Easton, and Dahlia, thank you as well for joining as well. We're going to see you on Thursday night for the Love is Blind reunion live as well. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. There's not much I wouldn't do. That's a lie. I'm fasting and on dieting now, guys. I ain't had sugar for 21 days. I was so sad. I know, but by the 21st day, I felt so good. I can't lie to you. I've given up sugar, guys. Yep, I had 2 muffins yesterday. It doesn't count. All right, appreciate it, guys. Stay locked, stay loaded. We'll see you again soon.
Are you done? Are you done?